This is where we show up to get the Osmum out, right?
Yeah, let's get our orb.
Yeah, we're getting the marble today.
Yeah.
Perfect.
How are
Yeah,
you?
the orb is really cool because it's a 3-seater mount.
Oh, yeah. One for
Thank
each form.
I was worried I wasn't in the right one.
One for
Yep.
each orb.
How am I? I am absolutely exhausted. I am running on the fumes of fumes.
Poor thing.
Yeah. Coming up on being up for, what, 17 hours? And worked like close to 50 hours this week and going for an hour or so tomorrow, too. To be fair, it is the second of what they call restaurant weeks in my town, which are basically like super cheap, like bundled deals to try a bunch of different stuff from different restaurants. And like, mine's the fanciest restaurant in town, so we're basically giving all the food away at the prices. So a lot of people only show up like for this, because they can't afford it otherwise. Not like I blame them. Like we've got like a $70 steak on the menu, right? Like, yeah, shit happens. But
Is it good? I want it, kind of.
yeah, no, it's the food's excellent, but like, yeah, you're definitely paying for it. It's the kind where like multiple like sommeliers for the floor, like the table read before service, like they, not all the like servers get to try it. It really just the important ones, like the sommeliers and that. But they like go over the different kinds of wines offered special that night and like have glasses of wine there before service to actually taste differences and point out tasting notes and stuff. But anyway, I basically for the past week made all of the desserts for hundreds of people. And restaurant week it's like a bundled coursed out thing, so dessert is included. So we just had a lot of desserts sell. On top of that, for Thursday, I had to have came to 224 slices of flourless chocolate torte for an event at Notre Dame. Then for Friday, I had 64 molten chocolate lava cakes to make for an event, etc., etc., etc. Like tomorrow, I'm going in to finish up 3 cheesecakes and 35 lemon blueberry trifles for an event Monday. This is just what I do. But I am the kind of second in command for the prep team, and the first in command is on vacation this week, which he deserves, to be fair. Part of me getting trained up is to allow him to take time off because he couldn't before. But it just means that like I've been in charge of it, making the decisions and like guiding the menu and changing things around, and it's all gone really well. But yeah, just been burning the midnight oil on it out of necessity.
That's incredible. Well
Yeah.
done. How many more of these magical weeks are there?
This is the last. It's a 2-week thing. It used to just be a 1-week thing, restaurant week, but now they changed it to restaurant weeks because of how popular they were. It's like, let's extend it. Yesterday I did a shitload of stuff in the morning. Just expecting to like, you never want to prep on the last day of like service for the week. You have to prep some stuff, but like you're more okay with running out because otherwise it has to sit for like 2-3 days before you're open again. But so yesterday I did a bunch of stuff with the intent of like having an easier day today, but they just sold through all of it, so I just redid everything today basically. But yeah, I've made a couple decisions and like added a few things to the menu that like all went over super well. And everyone's like, yeah, those are just permanent menu items now. And I'm like, yeah, good. Y'all have finally given me creative control instead of just making me roast potatoes every day. Welcome. This is what I do. Anyway, I need to ping another person because that first one I pinged is not. I'm just gonna blanket ping a few people and see which of them shows up.
I don't know if you want to start talking about blankets,
I mean, what's the worst that happens? I fall asleep mid-run? Nah,
yeah,
like,
it's fine.
once I get going, I'll be fine. It's just, So I am starting out with a cocktail rather than waiting for a halfway point. So that might be a mistake. We'll find out. I've earned it. I am not streaming tonight only because I am exhausted. All right. Well, we have Aosark as our Rend armor. Right on. I was talking with Harvin just about it's a conversation we've had a number of times with people, just the duality of Rend armor, because on the one hand, it doesn't scale off personal DPS, so you want to give it to people with the lowest honors, generally speaking, optimally, and also like the people who can perform the best with their personal buff actions. Giving them Rend always feels like a bit of a waste, because it lowers their personal DPS. But on the flip side of that, if your Rend armors are dying constantly or aren't consistent with it, Rend is the single biggest damage buff for the entire raid. If Rend is missed, or if the Renders are, dead on the floor for half the raid, that's like a permanent trick attack just gone. I mean, trick attack, you know what I mean. So, like, it's the single most important damage action, but it's got that trade-off. Like, if you give it to the, if you got a melee who always is the highest numbers, giving it to them would probably make it the most consistent it could be. But on the flip side, you're losing out on damage. So it's like you want to look for, like, who is the most consistent low honors players is probably the most optimal way to do it. For Prog, it doesn't really matter. And really, we're talking, like, hyper-optimized kind of worrying about it. But it's a trade-off, because, like, if I just give it to, like, here are the people who are gonna use their own buffs the worst, or, like, perform the worst under them, they're also gonna be the worst renders. So it's, I don't know, it's an interesting trade-off to deal with. But hello, everyone.
I don't know if I feel insulted or complimented that I have the other Rend armor then.
Right? I do like to give it to proggers, and then kind of, like, see how they do with it. Some is just if people want to Rend and are okay with keep bringing it. Like Harvard and I were talking just about, like, how the runs have been going and, like, damage and stuff. And one thing we noticed is that, yeah, you had time spent on the floor dead, but your Rends were good and consistent. Like, there's always some, like, prog, like, oh, well, I happened to be dead when it was my Rend time because I'm still progging, leave me alone kind of stuff. But, like, deaths alone aren't necessarily, like, what you look for with Rend. It's its own thing. So, congratulations, you passed the test, I suppose. But yeah, it's, on prog runs, really until you start getting into, like, re-clears and really trying to optimize, it doesn't matter as much. The DPS checks are still there, but they're not as, they're not what they used to be, certainly. And we don't have to get, like, hyper sweaty about it. That being said, let me see how many people are in this voice call already. Oh, there was a question sent to me in DM. There are 3 tanks in Party A because, the any slot is usually like it's put as any DPS, but blue DPS is fine there. And Carter is our duelist and wanted to duel on Warrior. So, we are going to have a Warrior as a duelist. Hence there being 3 tanks. They're just a blue DPS.
Oh, he's blood raging?
A bloops.
I am in fact blood raging tonight, yes.
Oh
Hi.
shit, he's finally doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm,
She's gonna be fucking going off.
No, the last time I blood raged, I fucking died to TS.
I was gonna ask if you practiced blood rage.
Yes, I've blood raged before. I blood raged my last run, and I think I can probably manage it. I will definitely be able to manage it post TS, because TS was the trickiest, I felt.
Let me rephrase that. Have you practiced it since your last run after eating shit to TS?
Fuck no.
Well,
I don't play this game.
Here we go!
Yeah, no, I'll be fine. I'm a gamer.
No, honestly, like, with me with Blood Rage, I just, don't actually get the full buff some of the time. Or, like, don't maximize my time under the buff. But that's, like, I've learned I shouldn't Blood Rage and call, right? Like, it's just a little too much, like, you have a huge fucking bar of buffs to watch. Things overlap with each other depending on how your head's set up. It's just dumb. So unless you really have it intuitively, my blood rage will come up and yeah. So about that, you basically have to use it when you have 2 charges saved up. You'll use 1 immediately, just to like instantly up it, and then yeah, you'll cook it as long as possible. So it's like each stage of it lasts like 18 seconds, and you basically need to use it like 16. Yeah, past 16. Otherwise, you don't get there.
So you only
so if
need
you
3
go
dashes,
into it,
though, because you start with 1.
Yeah, but like still, if you go into it with only 1 dash because you used it for gap closing or whatever, and you just hit your blood rage button anyway without looking, you're not actually gonna get your blood rage off, and then you cry. Yeah, every dash resets the 18-second timer. Yeah. Yeah, blood rage is a weird action. I stopped using it though when the warrior changes happened.
I was gonna say, yeah, because warrior used to be able to have it infinitely.
Yeah. I didn't chain it or whatever, but like I have 1 brain cell and it is smooth. It bounces around my head like a DVD screensaver. We're just waiting on my fucking co-host, I believe.
Yes, we are.
Alright, everybody pig Azalea in DRS chat and say Azalea waiting room. I love how Cafe just has the culture of randomly pigging the shit out of people, but like, before people think it's harassment, it's always people that are either cool with it, or they're enough of a regular here that they just know it's their turn sometimes. Like, we don't tend to harass people that we don't actually know are, fine with it and shit.
Just unleash the firing squad.
Uh-huh. Dead hot! Hey.
We did it! Yay!
Only cafe where you can just have like 30 people sending 1,000 pings to one person, and it's the person being pinged who says sorry.
Yeah, yeah, it's not the staff cracking down on it. The staff participates in it. Like, Trance and I are some of the worst offenders of it. Anyway, so about, just talking about damage some with the folks that are here. Damage is always a tricky thing to balance. Of course, the most important thing is just staying alive. But, buffs are multiplicative in here. And what that means is saving your bursts for the same time. All your bursts, which includes the new actions you get as well as your normal burst. Trying to line it up with, like, try to catch it under Dervish if you can, but, like, it's not that big a deal to micromanage. But really just, like, aligning raid buffs is much more important in here, and personal raid buffs are your most important thing. If you are, let's say, a melee shitter, and you happen to have Font of Power and Banner of Honored Sacrifice, Font is a 2-minute cooldown, Banner is a 90-second cooldown. So, the instinctual thing is to, well, I want to maximize the uses of each. So you hit Banner every 90 seconds and use Font every 2 minutes, right? Because then you get an extra Banner use. No, that is the wrong way to do it. You save the 90-second cooldown to line up with your 2-minute and use them both at the same time. Because the damage from them is so massive that even if you lose a use by doing it that way, it is still higher damage. Plus, like, the 2-minute burst nature of the meta right now, just for all classes. All classes just hit a lot harder every 2 minutes. So, like, lining up all your ducks in a row, you know, sends your DPS through the fucking roof. That can also be tricky with, like, TS is the classic example, because both sets of Ifrit dashes come up right around, like, the 2-minute window, so you save your burst till you get back to it. This also applies to, like, your dervishes, because you might think, well, you know, I'm a ranged fizz, if I use a dervish, I can keep attacking. But, like, the reason we give dervish, like, 1 per party isn't for the ranged fizz's benefit, it's for the benefit of, like, this stupid high damage melee and, like, everybody else in the party joining in. So, if your melees and your tanks aren't able to, like, if they're just using their range attack and kiting around the boss, or if they're a monk KEKW, imagine playing monk, then, like, your dervish is just doing nothing until they manage to make it back for their DPS. And so yeah, it's just an interesting meta and an interesting theory craft to do. For anyone that's been tuning in, there's been a lot of theory craft talk going on lately, because Cam from Primal joined in, and Cam is one of the best theory crafters we have just in the whole community. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. Also, of course, the traditional practicing your own rotations. Like this isn't. I'm not gonna say, oh, this is savage. You should know your rotations and openers and stuff because it's not that serious in content. It's like a gateway drug into the more optimized stuff. But like, if you really want to get good numbers, studying openers, studying rotations, stuff like that. Like the balance is a great resource. Practicing on training dummies, stuff like that.
Do keep in mind that like if you're serious about doing DRS, then you're also going to be stacking haste gear and you're going to be using lost actions in your opener, so it's going to mess up a few things about how you actually use that.
And you also go into your opener, like Samurai is a classic example. Like I had theory crafted an opener back before Endwalker that like was really, really high damage because like you come into it with full gauge and resources, full charges of everything. And at that point, like, your opener's already thrown off there because, like, it's almost like a dungeon in that way. Like, you're not starting out fresh. And so what's the best opener when you already have stuff built up? Do you just launch straight into your Madare? Do you use your buffs immediately? Do you go to... I usually do like a 1-2 to build up the damage buff, use that Madare, and then I pop the buffs once I have my Shifu applied as well. It misses a single Madare, but then I maximize more DCs with haste under the... But, etc., etc., etc. So, like...
Yeah, before the Endwalker changes to Samurai, I would often open with like Meikyo, but instead of getting all 3 Sen, I just apply the 2 buffs and then get 1 Sen to immediately apply the dots.
See, where what I did...
To other stuff. Like, it was weird.
I've always done, because starting with a Madare built up, I would do like Hakaze Jinpu to build up the damage buff. I'd unload the Madare there. If I already started out with 3 charges for Shoha, you don't use that Shoha even if you waste that, like, you overcap a charge, essentially. You wait on that Shoha until you actually pop your buffs. But yeah, then I Gecko, I Meikyo into a Kasha to get that other buff. And now that I have both buffs, now I start using Font and Banner. Because, like, Kasha's not, like, that big a deal. That buff's less important than the Jinpu buff. But, like, still, having your max speed, your max damage before you pop your damage stuff has always felt good. I don't know if that's actually correct or not compared to like getting an extra Madare under it, but like, welcome to DRS, right? Like this is it's an interesting instance with a lot of interesting like optimization challenges and discussions to have. Anyway, hello everybody. So a couple things to talk about since I know we have some people. Well, let me make sure everybody's in the call first.
Paul says 45.
Yeah. Not everybody's readied up anyway. The most important things to check for are healers will want to double check with their co-healer to make sure that one of you has Steel Sting, one of you has Spellforge. We do need one of each per party. 1 Steel Sting, 1 Spellforge per party. So generally speaking, we have one healer take one, the other take the other. Healers also need Reflects or Light Curtains, the general loss action loadout stuff. Let's see, we have 2 Percept tanks assigned. The Percept tanks are Leon for Slime side and Claire for Golem side. Banish I gave to, I believe, Stolas? Yeah, I gave Stolas Banish. Our Rend armors are Probably Bites and Aeosark Blur. Aeosark subbing in as a Rend. Thank you so much, Aeosark, we love you. Yeah. If anybody has any questions loadout-wise or whatever, we can certainly help with that. But as this is a, like, final boss prog / clear attempt, I am hoping people generally know what they're doing at this point. I'm going to do another ready check and see how this goes. Oh, we've got a DC. Okay. Definitely can't queue into the DC. Dar's restarting still. Okay. Yeah, I just missed it. I have 1 brain cell. 1 tired brain cell that now has some amount of alcohol in it, so,
I mean, that's when I got my clears when you started drinking.
Right. Oh, right, speaking of drinking. Loxius had mentioned a cocktail earlier. What'd you make? I have to know. Me and Loxius also didn't ready up, so whether or not he's actually here is a question for the ages. I went and got some mint after work, and well, yeah, I say got some mint after work. I stole some mint from work, and made a mojito. Oh, Loxius, what cocktail did you make?
I made a custom cocktail based off a joke because I misheard a friend say banana hakurei fi.
Huh.
So it's like a custom cocktail with Japanese sake, banana liqueur, lime and grapefruit juice, and cherry juice.
On my phone, and I'm
And
chatting
banana.
with you.
I'm gonna... Soul, you were hot micing, so I muted you real quick. Just make sure if you're gonna talk, on mic or whatever to, or, yeah, in your real life to mute. It's something I always have to watch out for too, because I never know, if I'm gonna want to have a conversation with people or whatever. Doesn't really matter when, like, people are shooting the shit, but, like, when actual coordination happens, or, like, during bosses, sometimes people are, like, talk to their roommates or whatever. It's always like, fuck! Scramble to alt tab and mute someone. Yeah, no worries. Alright. Dara is back in. I'm gonna do a, another raid check. I'm probably just gonna put us in anyway, or at least attempt to. Yeah, exactly. Like, whenever I stream, whenever it's not one of my own runs, and I'm streaming, I'll, like, mute a lot more often just to, shitpost in my chat. Because, like, you really don't get to shitpost with your chat if you're a, caller. Alright, well, Azalea is not ready, but I'm gonna put us in anyway. You're right. Don't make us get the pigs again. It puts the ready check in the chat, or else it gets the pigs again. Anyway, like I said, healers need to double check with their co-healer to make sure one has Steel Sting, one has Spellforge. Everybody is using their Pures and Re-Razors from the get-go. We are not swapping voice calls at all here. We're all staying in the same call. I'll just do a quick Golem explanation when we get there, and Zayla will do Slime explanation after. Remember that Leon is our Slime Side Perceptor, Claire is our Golem Side Perceptor. They should also have at least one, maybe two copies in their holster just to use later. They've both been to the end, or to Queen, so like they know the trap layouts. Whether they are paying full attention or not, you know, but they at least know that there are more later on. Yeah, I've never dueled in my life. No one can prove otherwise. I do always ask that vets don't do any crazy action swapping on the prog runs, just because I like for people to earn their clears rather than get hard carried through stuff. People may enjoy getting hard carried through stuff, but you know. Yeah, haste gear. Yep, haste gear is very important. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah. I know that. I know y'all are doing your own thing, but I just like to bring that up anyway. Yeah, that wasn't a call out, certainly. Alright, once you have your Pure and your Re-Razor, you can drop down to your side, but remember, if you drop down early, you can't get back. I gotta set my hotbars back up, because it's actually been a while since I've been in here as, come on and slam and welcome to the Sam. Back in my day, I was rank 1 samurai worldwide! Anyway, so, Claire, did I have you Percept before, or is this your first time doing it? Because I can walk you through it. It's hard for me to remember.
think Claire is AFK for a second here.
Oh, word. Well, Claire's gonna be the north hallway tank. I do need one tank on each of these 4 piles of rock, and one in the south hallway for the easy brain off job. Each of the tanks on the piles of rock will need a healer to stand with them. The exception is Tequila down in the southeast. We'll need a ranged fizz down here instead to be our interrupter. Yeah, Kojo. I figured you'd volunteer for it, Kojo. Like, hell yeah, I got a job. I'm sticking to it. So we got, Alessandra's on blue golem, Xantho is on white golem. We got, Tequila on red golem. Claire will be our north hallway. I will need a south hallway, and then I will need, let's see, Loxias is gonna be our last spot. I suppose Loxias will either be, green golem or south hallway. I think Dara's over here too. Yeah, Dara, you can be south hallway again, because I know you'd done that last time. We'll have Loxias take green golem. And then, yeah, Claire will be north hallway. Claire, did I have you, percept before, or is this your first time doing it? I can run through with you. First time. So what you do at first, you come over here to the left the way we came. Back the way we came, yeah. And you can percept, like, in line with the button from out here. There's also one on the other side. That way you can check the south 2 rooms ahead of time. If it says nothing, then, you just know that room's empty. If it says there's something in it, you just know that's a room you'll have to check. Like, if it's not, if neither south room says anything, you just know it's in both the north rooms. There's also a trap in the middle of the hallway. I'm gonna drop the 4 marker about where that trap ends up being. You just have to make sure to be well south of that, once it's placed. So yeah, there's like a pile of rubble to the east. You'll make sure to like percept before you, like start to cross the line of that pile of rubble and stuff. I'll run with you, like I said. Does blue or white room have a trap in them? Was there any to the south here? Trap in white. So, once we open the door, eventually, you'll run into white, and the way to percept, you step inside the doorway of the room, you percept once. If you find it, great, you move on. If you don't find it, but it says it's close, you go all the way up to the button, no need to, like, you know, pussyfoot around it, all the way up to the button and percept again, and that always gets it in 2. So generally speaking, like, if you know one of the south has it, you check at the doorway, move forward if you have to. You get the hallway as you're moving north. Everybody else has to wait till you found it. And then checking the north 2 rooms, you kind of just inch your way in, check inside the doorway. If it says it's close, you go up to the button and check. If you don't find it, your percept is just reaching across the hallway. There's no need to, like, run around the room, panic searching for it. Like, if you don't find it in that 2, you just go across the hallway and get that other one. As far as everybody else, though, so remember, blue golems do a tank buster AoE that needs mitigated, healed through, whatever. You need to as soon as the bleed off, so that'll hit Alessandro and Xantho. Alessandro, you'll go to the southwest room, you'll be the blue room. Xantho will go to the southeast room, the white room. We just need to burst that down, it's not too bad. Loxias goes to northeast, the green room, and Tequila will go to northwest, the red room. Tequila, once yours changes to red, you need to be the first person to hit it, and you get to kite it around the room. You just basically keep moving until we start to work on it later. You don't even have to worry about the interrupt. Kojo will get that for you. Once it gets red, or once we start working on it, we'll wait till it gets to about 20%. Start DPSing it, or stop DPSing it at 20%. You'll pull it to the button and invuln as it gets close. Thankfully, you're a gunbreaker, so we don't have to worry about fucking living dead killing you. And then, yeah, you invuln, you pull it to the button, we kill it there. It's nice and easy. Yeah, Claire will also be the north hallway tank, so I'll just run with you on the way north, just and, like, I'll jump up and down where I'd percept. But I think that's mostly it golem side. Make sure to keep moving so you don't get AFK kicked. The floor is Azalea's.
Hello everybody, so we already split everybody up. Make sure we have 2 late parts between A and 1, between B and 2, and C and 3. That is parties A, B, and C lined up with their appropriate markers. Both traps were north over on Slime's side. Looks like we'll be doing the wave method. There's a couple people who are fresh to crystal over here. So the way we handle it is the northwest tank picks up the first 3 green slimes, pull it into the northwest room. Northeast will grab the next 3 green slimes, pull it into the northeast room, and keep doing that for 2 and B. Once B has gotten their 3 slimes and pulled it in, I will call healer free for all. Then you can go ahead and pull. Then the healers can start ahead and start pulling slimes to their tanks. The tanks will pull it off of you until the big slime is at 4 stacks, and then we'll have a 5th one held off to the side. Once all 4 rooms have a 5th one held off to the side, we will call commit. The tank will provoke, pull that small slime through the center of the big slime. They'll fuse, we'll run out the north door, run all the way to the east. DPS, if you're assigned to a room, so if you're standing on an A, 1, 2, or a B, it is your job to pull slimes out of the rooms. So you'll hit it with literally anything, it'll tether to you, you pull it out into the hallway, up against the wall next to the door closest to your room. So southwest will go southwest of the door, southeast will go southeast of the door, so on and so forth. Just keep watching that until I call commit. Once we call commit, we just go out the north door. There will be times where red slimes will drop into some rooms and not others. We just hit slime cap at that point, so just make sure that you burn that. Just keep watching the room until the red, just in case one red does drop. Otherwise, rules of the trade: no dots, no AOE's, no ASI's. If you have a targeted AoE, that's okay, as long as you are being very respectful with it. Otherwise, that is pretty much everything for slime side. Just please don't rush the slimes on the buttons. Once it's at 4 stacks, and yeah, we'll call commit once you're ready. You can call 4 and holding in your room.
All right, let's start getting some ready checks going out then. Good old barracks. Sometimes on re-clears we still explain barracks because they're terrifying. Especially with different strats floating around.
Yep, slimes are ready.
Okay, just waiting on E and F. Or D and E, rather.
Tank stance is on. We did sync down, so you need tank stances if you're tanking a room.
D is ready. That is all parties reporting ready. Tank stance check, food check, vibe check. I'm starting our countdown. Golem side is a trap in white, a trap hallway, and a trap somewhere north. Keep in mind that as a Preceptor, you can pop sprint like a second or 2 before the door opens. That gives you the 20-second sprint instead of the 10-second in combat one. The strats.
The strats.
Also, don't move north if there's a trap in the hallway that's not percepted yet. Y'all know the drill.
And away we go. Alright. Northwest tank, get ready to pick up your 3 slimes. Northwest, pick up your slimes. Reds are dropping soon. DPS, pay attention to your rooms. Northeast, get ready. Northeast, pick up your slimes. They pop up there. They are taking their time.
Alright, green probably might have a trap in it. Nope, all traps found.
Southeast, get ready.
Blue golem healers, be ready to Asuna.
Southeast, get ready. Pull your slimes.
Asuna your tanks. Interrupts and golems if you need to keep it the same color.
Southwest.
Blue golem was interrupted. We have to let it change over. Go work on green for now. Go work on green.
Reds are down. Get them out. Alright, it's healer free for all now. Healers can start feeding your tanks. Once you're at 4 stacks on the big slime and 1 being held off to the side, you can put in yellow chat.
Golems go down to white. Make sure to build gauging resources whenever things get low.
Reds are down, pull them out.
Golems work on hallways. We are 3 of 4.
Southeast is 4 and holding. Reds are down, get them out. Southeast, northeast. We're just near our west sides.
Southwest 4.
Southwest. We just need northwest. Reds are down. Get them out. Northwest is 4. That's everyone calling ready. Everybody commit. Everybody commit. Center of the big slime. Center of the big slime. Once both are fusing, pick up all loose mobs. Alright, once they're fusing.
Golems hold DPS so it's on the button.
Okay. Out the
To heal
north
him. You'll invuln as it starts to get close to you. Make sure to get to that button. Awesome. Yeah, there we go.
I think slime's as well.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, I see a big slime in southwest that is not fusing.
They didn't fuse.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a very not fused slime.
Alright, that is all good. Golem side, just let Demolishes go off. It is the quickest way to die. You can also gather around the trap in the middle, but I was about to say, wait till more people are around it before popping it. We like to hold hands and sing Kumbaya before jumping into the campfire.
I saw it casting the fusion cast, so either A, it was interrupted, or B, that wasn't the last stack.
The little one was outside of the range, so it didn't get pulled in to fuse.
Gross.
I
Slimes
see.
suck.
Yeah, that's why you want to try and pull it dead through the dead center of the big slime.
Fury 5, these traps still active.
Golem is just, where does the blue golem go? That's right, the square hole. Where does the white golem go? That's right, the square hole. It's just color matching. We have the easy job. We get to sit back drinking mojitos while Azalea pulls his hair out. There's a reason he didn't show up. He just wanted to go to sleep.
No, who sleeps?
I mean, not me. That's for sure. Anyway, no big deal. Once we go back in, we'll just keep every spot the same and whatever. Small tip to anyone who knows they're gonna be a blue golem tank. You can always pop a med kit from the box if you have them to spare with the resistance med kit. And that makes it where your healer doesn't actually have to do anything for the Asuna. I don't usually do it until like I know I'm gonna be a blue golem, so I only do it on like re-instances. But if you got them to spare, it's a cute little, cute little thing to do. Make your healers happy.
Also, medkits drop from the same fragments as re-razors, so you should have plenty of those.
Waiting on shakes to leave instance, and then we're gonna re-instance. Alright. Make sure to re-up your pure, re-up your re-razor. Those two fall off, the rest of your stuff is the same. But yeah, it's on the re-instance and further runs where people get complacent about things like pures and re-razors. They're like, oh, I popped one. Yeah, you popped one on the first run. We just died. Gotta go back at it. It never hurts to double and triple check. You just always make sure. I've dropped down. I've never dropped down without my pure, but I have dropped down without my second half of my holster. But I was a class where it didn't actually matter. My DPS was just low. And I was just like, I am the bad today.
It do be like that sometimes.
Everyone gets one, man. Or more than one. Maybe the real friends were the golems we made along the way. Wait, I don't know what that means, man. I suppose I should point out for funsies, since I'm on melee without doing any, like, excellence action swap shenanigans, and, like, melee without duelist holster, I may or may not have 4 dice in my holster.
I put 2 dice in my holster.
Yeah, brother, fuck yeah!
When I'm tanking and not doing, when I'm not doing anything fancy with it, I will also bring dice.
Yeah. I have them in my potion slot on my hotbar. If you see me die early in a fight, it's not that I'm bad, it's that my luck is bad. I'm sticking to that. Oh, so Claire, on for traps, they can always be different, so you just always double check when you re-instance. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you're lucky enough to have the duelist on your side, in which case they can sometimes help with the percepting, but it's not too bad to do, especially like with sprint. Your only real timer on it is being able to get north to get your golem. That's a little far north. Yeah. Trap in blue, none in white. Also keep in mind that the trap in the center of that hallway, it can be shifted west or east from that center spot we was at last time. So don't just assume it's like the dead center is safe or unsafe or whatever. But as long as you're getting up like I said, there's a little pile of rubble off to the right side of it. As long as you're south of that pile of rubble, you're not gonna trip the trap. And yeah, we can get ready checks once people are down in groups together and the like. Man, Loxies, why'd you have to mention maraschino cherries? I want to go grab my jar now and just start eating them with a spoon. They're so good. Like, Golem side's ready, by the way.
Just waiting on B.
I had several friends of mine try them, and like they were like, "I don't like those cocktail cherries." It's like, this is what those are pretending to be. Like, this is the blueprint that those are aping. Like,
Alright. B slimes are ready.
Alright, tank stance check, re-up your stance, please. Food check, vibe check, starting countdown. Remember, golems is a trapped blue, trap in the hallway, and trap somewhere north. I'm gonna leave the Perceptor on the ground this time because they did a perfectly good job without me needing to guide them.
Nice. Wahoo! And away we go. Northwest tank, get ready. Watch the trap. Northwest tank, pick up your 3 slimes. DPS, keep an eye on those rooms. Reds are down. Northeast, get ready. Northeast, pick up your slimes.
Blue golem healers, be ready to Asuna.
Southwest, be ready. I mean southeast, my bad. Southeast, pick up your slimes.
And Asuna's away. I'll work on white, don't interrupt it, let it actually change.
Alright, that's Southwest running off with theirs. DPS keep watching those rooms, reds are down. Alright. It is healer free for all now.
Roll a minutes.
Once you're at 4 stacks with the fifth one held off to the side, make sure to put in yellow chat.
Golems work on hallways, we are 3 of 4. Don't work on red until we're ready.
Reds are down. Southeast is 4 on holding. Question mark? Get those reds out. Oh shit. Alright, run. Let's see here. Southeast, northwest, southwest. We just need northeast.
Northeast is for holding.
Alright, go ahead. That is ready. Everyone commit. Everybody go ahead and commit. Everybody commit. Make sure to pull it through the center of the big slime. And make sure they are both fusing before you run out. One, two. Alright, that looks good. And someone ran into the trap with their face.
Golems hold DPS, so it's on the button.
Man, the hero.
It's not much, but it's honest work. Golems work on north and south hallway. Stun or sleep demolish casts. Wait till late in the cast bar to do so. Don't spam holy. Shout out to my shithead white mage brothers. ancestors and non-binary siblings. I don't know.
Something like that.
Everyone always asks me like, "You're NB." Like, what do we say instead of like sir or ma'am? I'm always a fan of people who are like, do we call you sir? Do we call you ma'am? And I'm like, no, you call me chef. Yes, chef. Thank you, chef.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah. I have a keychain for my car chain, car key that says yes, chef on it. Everyone's like, oh, are you a fan of the bear? I'm like, no, I can't watch it. The sound of ticket printers give me anxiety. Like, I don't need it to be in a kitchen where they yell at each other. That's just called a work day. Anyway, so we do have some people from different Prog groups and whatever. A couple things to keep in mind. Once you cross the purple line into the arena, you are declaring yourself ready. I'm not doing ready checks. If you step across the line, you're saying, I'm good to go. The Rens should work out who's Rend 1, Rend 2. That's the most important buffs for us to sort over. Most of this is called the same anywhere. The main thing to keep in mind for Fourfold Mercy, I call true North orientation for Fourfold. Unless the boss is pointed super, super wonky, but we're just not going to worry about that. So true north orientation, that is for both the boss and the ads. Facing does not matter. It'll be north, south, east, and west calls. So west, west, east, east, north, north, south, south, etc. Just reorient to the arena best you can. Remember when the Earthshakers are coming up for that phase, to rotate around the center with your Earthshakers. Don't just run through the group. That's pretty much it. Everything else to kind of handle. Calls. Can I get a main tank volunteer to the front? Oh, is Leon volunteering? Hell yeah! What's up? Alright, can I get 2 off tanks to stand with them? Just to help soak AoEs and the like. Got Alisador. Temujin, I will give it to you. Third Eye will save me. Does Ninja still have like shade shift and stuff? I don't fucking remember. Anyway, I believe that's everything we need. Cross the line into the arena once you're ready to go. If you have any questions, you can ask on voice, yell, whatever you gotta do. Waiting on Loxius and Trimble, I believe. You do not need Protect unless you are a tank. Scale is generally good for everybody, but some people will click it off if they got the stacks for it. If you need Shell still, you can stand off to the left in the arena. My cat is on my lap and looked up at me because a drop of water fell off my glass and onto her head because of the condensation. And I'm like, well, kitty, I don't know what you expected. Alright, everybody is here. Tank stance check. Only Leon should have stance on. Food check. Actions check. Make sure to have the charges, etc. Vibe check. I am starting her countdown. Like I was saying before, try to keep your cooldowns lined up, your bursts lined up, your actions lined up. Cure 4 should be kept up, that whole Bravery on people the whole fight. Dervish is generally used on cooldown unless we definitely have a downtime coming up, which this fight has a couple. This fight starts with a raid wide. Pre-shield your parties if you want. I'm not your dad. Dance check, please. Dance check, please. Alright, Fourfold is the first mechanic. Fourfold's gonna be... we're either starting north or west. It's gonna be north, north, south, south. North, north, south, south. Edge of the hitbox is slightly inside. It is safe. It is a one movement. North, north, south, south. South twice, followed by seasons. Orb is on 1. Dodge ice, look away from 1. Look away, look away. Dodge ice again, and get away from the bloom. Get away from the bloom. We're going to be skipping. We're going straight into getting under the boss after this is over. We're skipping Raid Wide and Tank Buster. Inside the hitbox. Inside the hitbox. Front or back is also safe, but inside the safest. After this goes off, we're going to have our main tank and the 2 off tanks pull towards the... or to the north. Yeah, north is fine. Main tank and the off tank to the north. Stack together. Sharing is carrying here on the late nights. Woo. Everyone away from main tank. Sharing is no longer carrying here on the late nights. Next up are going to be chains locking in. Wait for the chain icon to be gone before breaking. Once that chain icon disappears, they are locked in. And we are going to be hiding behind a barricade. Wait for the chain to be gone. Wait for the chain icon gone. Break chains and hide. Break chains and hide. Hide, hide, hide. Next up are Ifrit dashes, followed by Baleful Blade. Save burst for after the Ifrit dashes. Remember, don't greed for uptime here. The dashes are wider than you think. We're gonna start at 3. We're gonna get knocked into the barrier at 4. Knocked into the barrier at 4. Once you get there, don't keep running. Knocked into the barrier at 4. Don't keep running. Awesome. Back to bursting. Stay stacked towards 4. Stay stacked the way we came from. Stay stacked the way we came from. So anyways, I started bursting. You can stay stacked together from here to just bait clone line AoEs. Fun fact, Leon, the main tank does want to stack there as well. It can snipe the main tank all by themselves. This fight sucks. It's the worst to take. Like I said, we can stay stacked to bait clone line AoEs. And then we're gonna do the first Iron Splitter. We're gonna stand on sand. Stand on sand. That's the sandy one. Boss is gonna jump center next. The next time the boss jumps, we're gonna go on brick near the boss and be watching for Earthshakers. Remember, next time he jumps, we're going on brick near the boss. Brick near the boss, watch for Earthshakers. If you get one, rotate around the center. Earthshakers, rotate around the center. Rotate around the center. We're gonna follow the boss again and be on sand near the boss. Sand near the boss with the Earthshakers rotated away. Sand near the boss, Earthshakers rotated away. I respect the hell out of both those people. Point the boss north or to a cardinal as fast as you can, by the way. Cardinal as fast as you can. We're gonna be getting to intercard. Intercards around the boss, do not greed. Do not greed for uptime unless you really know the positioning. Awesome, well done. Next up, we're going to have Ifrit dashes followed by Fourfold Mercy. 2 people with the fucking Earthshakers did the oh you go and died because of it. I respect them. We're starting at 4. Don't greed for uptime. Save burst till we're back. It's gonna be after rotating. We're either starting south or we're starting south or west. What's it gonna be? West, west, east, east. Rotate around with and then west. No, west, east, east, west. West, east, east, west. My bad. West, east, east, west. East twice. East twice. And west. Orb is on 4. Dodge ice. Look away from orb. Look away. Look away. Dodge ice again and get away from the bloom. Get away from the bloom.
Sorry for terrible positioning.
Chains to break. Chains to break, followed by a raid wide. We do get healer LB in this fight, so don't worry too much about deaths. There's a basic bitch tank buster next. Tank is gonna pull away to the north, be away from the main tank. Next up, we have the Iron Splitter Fourfold Mercy combo. We're gonna start on the first safe rings, do fourfold like normal, and then end on the next safe rings. Those rings are always opposite from the first. Fourfold is gonna be either north or east. 2 movement, what are we gonna get? North, south, south, north, start on brick. North, south, south, north, start on brick. South twice, south twice. North again, end on sand. North again, end on sand. We're gonna get one more at random. Be on sand, be on sand. Got another tank pickup, thank you. Sand with seasons. Orb is on 3. Dodge ice, look away from 3. Look away, look away. Don't get baited by the clone line AoEs, we have time to dodge. Don't get baited, don't get baited. Raid wide is next, followed by the verdant path where we get under the boss. That's where we have healer LB. If both healers are dead in a party, one of them should be marked with a shape or something. So get inside the hitbox, get inside the hitbox. Anyone with Horizons, if he can pick up various healers. Inside the hitbox. Sacrifice is also the play whenever available. Healers can LB once we get LB3. Alright, this is a Baleful Blade Fourfold Mercy combo. We're going to be doing Baleful Blade towards one of the Cardinals, and then Fourfold at that Cardinal as well. We're getting knocked back towards either 2 or 3. We are getting knocked back towards 3, knocked back towards 3. And then it's going to be south, north, north, south on the clone. Knock back towards 3, then south, north, north, south on the clone. South, north, north, south. North twice, north twice. South again, south again. Chains to break, followed by a raid wide. Healers should be LBing if they have people in their party down. If both healers in your party are down, it's, that is a lot of people alive now. Raid wide coming out, by the way. Alright, next is the Iron Splitter Rings, followed by Baleful Blade. If we have to get out and hide, don't greed for melee uptime. You don't have time to sprint there. We are going to have to get out and hide. We're going to be on, it's rings first. Be on sand, then hide. Sand, then hide. Don't greed for uptime, y'all. Hide, hide, hide. Yeah, we've had enough deaths. I'd rather not greed on it. We do have one person down. Their sacrifice is appreciated. Sacrifice quite literally. Try not to hot mic, please, unless you're helping coordinate. And also, don't rush ahead unless you are, percepting. Leon had stuff to say tank-related, but, other hot micing is not appreciated. It gets in the way. Alright. The north spot is for the duelist. That is Carter. Carter does need their range and their Cure 4 with them. Their Dervish and their Cure 4, which is Soleil Mila and Graf. If you can, just follow Carter. So, Graf, Iron Chest, and Soleil. Just, coming back so Carter can get buffs before leaving. Whenever Carter is ready, she will let us know by saying something in party chat, jumping up and down, or whatever. That's where you apply Cure 4, Dervish, whatever party buffs you have. So Carter needs a second, but after that, we'll be good to go. Yeah, main tanking TS is the hardest fight to tank. There's so many little spots of, like, do you have time to get at middle, or do you just point to a cardinal? Like, Seasons is a miserable spot. To tank as well. As far as Dahu is concerned, we will use actions on Dahu. Yeah, I'm cool with that, Leon. You've already done the hardest one. Yeah, Dar, you've got time to restart. Just don't be in the Dahu arena. If you have charges, I mean, people have seen the Queen at this point. They should have a decent idea of their charge economy, their action economy. If you have charges to spare, you can use them there. Or on any of the mini-bosses. So, typically, yes. Damage is quite high as long as people stay alive and don't eat LB'd up.
If I may speak for a second, I'm gonna do a countdown. This is not to pull Dahu, this is for my buffs for Duel. So
Okay.
do not pull the boss when I do this. Thank you, Smile.
Alright, buff Carter. And away she goes. We'll make our way back to the Dahu arena. Thank you everybody for the patience. Duelist is a nerve-wracking thing to deal with, so, Alright. Welcome to Dahu. Not that bad, just try to focus on, not getting hit, which is not a helpful call, really. But, there's no DPS check here. As long as you stay alive, don't get hit, you'll be alright. When Spit Flame starts casting, watch for the numbers above your head. You have to get to an ad near your marker, not the marker itself necessarily. For the left-right shockwave, try to get center. Always watch your footing for various line and ground AoEs. Don't stand in AoEs and keep casting, please. You don't get LB here to pick people back up. When the knockback comes, you just get knocked to any safe spot the first time. Second time around, the tanks get knocked to the south safe spot if they have... The two tanks who get flares, rather, get knocked to south safe spots, party to north safe spots. The tanks can stack and mitigate if needed. But that should be about it. Leon will continue main tanking. Nobody else should have stance on, etc. Step across the purple line when you're ready to go. Awesome. Waiting on Dara's just reconnecting, so we're just gonna pull, and it's fine. So whenever you're ready, Leon. Otherwise, I'm gonna pull on Samurai. Yeet. Tank stance check, please. I don't like to ask more than once. Line and ground AoEs, or just ground AoEs at first. Watch your footing. Multiple sets. Stance revolution. Don't get got, please. You don't get LB in this fight to pick people up. Boss is charging to the north. After this, he'll be charging somewhere south. Charging southeast-ish. We'll have to get close to dodge the cones. Get close to dodge the fire cones. There's gonna be line AoEs next, but the next cast bar is Spit Flame. Once that cast bar starts, start looking for those limit cut numbers above your head. Remember, you have to get to an add near your marker. So, Spit Flame starting up right about now. Be watching for numbers above your head, get to an add near your marker, an add near your marker. Gonna be a left-right shockwave, reorient center if you can. We have to swap over after the first hit or outrange it. Next is getting knocked to an empty spot. Knocked to an empty spot. Cancel the knockback if you're a Chad Pog gamer. Five rotating cones are next. Blamey, Whamey, Spin, and Flamey. You can start towards the northwest-ish and rotate around with them. If you're lazy, you can stop towards southeast and stop moving. Because there's only ever 5 cones. Add phase is next. We are going to need to burn down the ads, even though damage is high. Gotta make sure to kill them before Leon dies. They get a stacking damage up. Wow. That is a successful duel. Hopefully Carter remembers that there is a trap after the duel.
I have remembered. I still have Percept up. I clicked on the statue.
Good job. You did the thing.
The trap is after the stairs, correct?
Yeah. You can just inch forward very paranoid if you really don't know. Anyway, on Dahu, multiple sets of line and ground AoEs. Watch your footing. There's going to be a left-right shockwave shortly therein. Left-right coming up. Again, if you need to get hit, just try to get hit by one thing. Don't stack up multiple dooms. Spit Flame, watch for numbers above your head. Get to an add near your marker. An add near your marker. Tanks with flares need to get knocked to south safe spots, party to north safe spots. Tanks with flares south safe spots, party north. Cancel the knockback if you're a Chad Pog gamer. 5 sets of rotating cones are next. Awesome. We do have some bodies to pick up, at least one. If you're going to be a rising, make sure to stand on the body to arise. That way we're not wasting a bunch of them. As always, remember a re-raiser if you die, for whatever reason. For a while, people used to just be like, oh, Dahu's not hard, tee-hee, and not really explain or anything. But I've seen so many people die to Dahu, just like, scraping off their re-raisers, essentially. It's like, oh, well. Especially on, like, late prog kind of clear runs. We want to conserve resources if we can. Alright, so once we get to Queensguard, I will set up our markers to determine who's doing what roles. And then I'll talk out a bit of the, well, the explanations, I suppose. Alright. So the A spot is for our, Knight Soldier tank. B is for the Warrior Gunner tank. We'll need Dispel. Minope has that, thank you. Maybe. We have,
yeah, I need to slot Dispel somewhere.
Yeah. Tequila and Anastasia will be North 1, North 2. I need a South 1, South 2 on that 3-4 spot. Poom will be South 1. Alessandro has South 2. Awesome. Just remember your various roles. Leon and Minope will be the only two who need stance on. Nobody else has to worry about it. So just to quickly walk through some of this, I know some people haven't progged in a while or have been with different groups. Steel Sting and Spellforge will be applied during countdown. Steel Sting goes to all casters, that's all healers and magic DPS. Spellforge goes to all physical damage dealers. Let me see if I need to pop up my... Yeah, let me grab my handy-dandy Google Doc full of the mechanics and clips and things to post. So I don't just have to look up Sif's infinite posts about them. We don't yet have a chat command for it set up. We've been talking about redoing all our resources before too long, but Yuki and I are the two who want to do it the most, and neither of us have time. We're like the staff members with the least time. Funny how that works. Alright, so I'm linking 3 different images in. That first image, the special boys, that applies during the first phase. We click off whichever buff matches the color of the tether. So if it's yellow, we click off Steel Sting. If it's purple, we click off Spellforge. I will call that out. And we need the opposite applied for anyone that does both damage types. Calls will look something like, click off Steel Sting, apply Spellforge. Red mages need Spellforge. Or, click off Spellforge, apply Steel Sting. Paladins, Dark Knights, Bards, Ninjas, and Reapers need Steel Sting. Not too bad. The first set of tethers are for bombs. Keep in mind that if you get tethered but didn't see whether you got it or not, you will get a little set of scales on your debuff bar to check. So you can always check it after the tether actually disappears. For bombs, tethers to small, rest to large, or other way around. Remember, if you land before your bomb, adjust where an explosion just happened. We either resolve bombs on the outside edge, or we get knocked back from the orb in the center. That's that second image. Anything red is unsafe. We get knocked back from the orb, but the orb also keeps going and explodes. So get knocked sideways, or, 90-degree angle or less, I like to say. I'll call it out with markers the best I can. Let's see. The Wario Do move that needs dispelled, and a raid wide. The next set of tethers are for green or purple. You go to the intercards for green or purple. Don't be where they Venn diagram and overlap, otherwise you'll get killed. After the green-purple go off, we immediately get center under the knight just to reorient our positioning. And then we either have to stay in and hug it on the safe side, hugging the edge of the hitbox or inside the hitbox. Or you have to run out immediately towards the safe side. I will call it out best I can. That's basically it for the first phase though, besides it looping. Second phase is all about the gap mechanic. Remember, you get a debuff on your debuff bar that shows you which side the gap is on if it's hard to see with the sea of people. Whenever I tell you where to go for the gap mechanic, you turn your gap towards the gunner in the center. Once that AoE goes off, you turn the gap towards a turret you're aligned with. Don't worry about the whole wall of turrets, just pick one of them that's your friend, line up with its little targeting arrow, put your gap towards that one after the gunners goes off. For the two adds that spawn in, we just have the 2 main tanks deal with them. Fire, ice, you either keep moving or stop moving, take no actions, etc. Let's see, for clones, that gets called out. Nothing there too bad. For the last phase, this is also for healers. In that image I linked, you can see that there's an A1, A2, a B1, B2, C1, C2, etc. Healers, please double check if you are healer 1 or healer 2 in your party and what your spot would be. For instance, if I'm healer 1 in party F, I would be the F1 spot. Healer 2 in party F would be the F2 spot. Once you know your spot and confirm it with your co-healer, you can always mark it with a flag on the map just for quick finding in the mix, so you don't have to alt-tab or anything. As we get into that final phase, the healers need to get to their positions. After about a GCD, or after the sphere spawns that they need to reflect, they wait about a GCD after it spawns in before popping their reflect or light curtain. Then they just stand there for that AoE. There are 2 pulses of it if somebody misses the first. Please adjust near you to any that are missed, so we don't all get damage downs, etc. While this is going on, there's an aura sphere north and south we need to burn down. The north one, south one have their stances on and tank the first 2. After they die, they will put an orange arrow above your head. That orange arrow needs invulned. Afterwards, north one, south one can turn their stances off, and north 2, south 2 can turn theirs on. Since there are 2 waves. 2 waves of reflects as well. The ethereal wards do coat of arms, which is a directional parry, hold actions and such, or just hold DPS for the coat of arms. Respect it, do not greed. Especially if you got something like a dancer and a size that can hit multiples, that will very much get you killed if you're not very careful about what you're doing. The that being said, if anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we can step across the line once you're ready to go. If any party is missing steal or spell, you can also let me know and we can adjust a bit. But it is a giant pain in the ass to have to adjust for.
I have a minor question.
What's up?
Will Automata Queen trigger the guards?
I don't know, actually. Did somebody send it towards the... Oh, well, Alessandor, do you remember which spot you were on? The 1, 2, 3, or 4? 4. You are south 2, which means in that final phase, after we kill the first set of ads, the first set of aura spheres, you'll just turn your stance on so you can get aggro on the second. Those aura spheres, one appears north and one appears south. You'll be taking the south one on the second wave. You'll just make sure to get aggro on that aura sphere, on that second wave. Keep aggro until it dies, and once it dies, you just pop home gang. That way the tank buster doesn't kill you, and you move on from there. So north 1, north 2, or north 1, south 1 rather, get that first wave. North 2, south 2, get that second wave. If Queen or Esteem will trigger a directional parry, I don't know. I think you're fine to pop it. I don't think it'll apply to you. We're waiting for Xavius, Graf, Dara, and Carter to be ready. Graf dear, once you're ready to go, you can step across the line. Still needs Steel Sing. We'll apply it during countdown. That way it's, yeah. Anyway, everyone's across. I'm gonna start a countdown. Tank stance check. Leon and Minope need it on. Please apply Steal and Spell in your parties. That just, like, there's no reason to apply it before countdown because, like, explanations are still a thing. Food check, actions check, vibe check. You can get up towards the front once you have all your buffs. Just don't pull them early, please. This fight's gonna start out with multiple sets of raid whites. Alright. Raid white number 2 gonna come out shortly. Just kidding. Alright. We're gonna be tanking the knight in the center, the warrior off to the east. Please try to balance your damage between them. They do have to die at roughly the same times. Click off Steel Sting, apply Spellforge. Click off Steel, apply Spell. Red mages need Spellforge. Red mages need Spellforge. Next mechanic will be bombs and tethers. Remember, if you miss the actual tether application, you can just check for the set of scales on your debuff bar. Shield Omen. We're going to be getting knocked back from the orb in the center to go bowling and dodge the bombs. Check for a tether. Check for a tether. Tethers will get knocked to small, rest knocked to large. Tethers knocked to small, rest knocked to large. Towards like 2, towards C, something like that. Tethers knocked to small, rest knocked to large. If you land before your bomb does, adjust where an explosion just happened. Adjust where an explosion just happened, or there's a bomb above your head that's gonna kill you. Dispelling Warrior is next. Dispel Warrior, and Raid White coming out. The next set of tethers will be for the green or purple AoEs. Remember, they're in intercards. Don't be where they overlap and get Venn diagrammed. After that green or purple hit, we need to get center and pop sprint if you need to, because you might need to get right out. Check for a tether. Check for a tether. Tethers will go to green, rest will go to purple. Don't get Venn diagrammed. Tethers green, rest purple. Afterwards, we're getting under the knight and stay in, hugging it on the safe side. Under the knight, we're gonna stay in towards A. Edge of the hitbox towards A. Dispelling Warrior is next.
Oh shoot.
Raid wide. Big damage. And tank busters going off. All of that's gonna loop. Our Lady of Favorable Patterns, hallowed be thy name. Fuck! Click off Spellforge, apply Steel Sting. Click off Spell, apply Steel. Red mages need Steel Sting as well as Paladins, Dark Knights, Bards, Ninjas, Reapers. Work on the Knight more, it should be much lower at this point. Work on the Knight, work on the Knight. The Knight jumps away, the Warrior does not. If we can kill the Knight before this, that is lovely. Healers no longer need Steel or Spell, by the way. Awesome, we are good to go for the next phase. We'll be taking the Soldier off to the west, the Gunner in the center. Soldier to the west, Gunner in the center. My aggro. Relentless Battery is just a filler cast, no need to worry about it. But, as always, there are chemicals in the fire, turning the frickin' frogs gay. Alright, Leon, save a gap closer if you could. We're going to sea in a poorly constructed submarine. Leon, you're good to move. Turn your gap towards the gunner in the middle. Gap towards the gunner. After this attack goes off, wait for it. Gap towards a turret you're aligned with. A turret you're aligned with. Gonna be tank busters first, followed by raid wides. Soldier is a little behind. I mean, quite a bit behind, but we have time. Raid wide's coming out now. The two main tanks will be picking up the ads. We'll just help burn them down. Remember, there's one to the west, there's one to the east. The main tank will also invuln late in that cast bar. The sniper shot cast. Damage is evened up. You can go ahead and work on the whichever. Gun turrets are spawning in. Those will be our top priority. Burn down these gun turrets. Main tanks will invuln the sniper shot cast. Next up will be a raid wide. And in lieu of calling the next mechanic, I'm going to read a poem. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Robert Frost. Keep moving, keep moving. Don't stop till the animation's done. Keep moving. And back at it like a crack addict. That's also poetry. Killer Mike of Run the Jewels. Anyway, we are going to skip the jumping clones, provided we don't have a catastrophic accident. North 1, South 1 can turn their stances on early here. Healers, keep in mind where you're going to need to end up for that final phase, as we are jumping into it. Healers either need reflect or light curtains on their bars. ABC North, DEF South. Healers, get to your positions. North 1, South 1, make sure your stances are on. You'll be picking up the aura spheres north and south. Remember, you invuln after they die. You get an orange arrow above your head, that's how you know to do it. Healers, reflect your spot. Watch for any near you that are missed. Coat of arms, respected, do not greed. Do not greed. Adjust for any missed spots if needed. Another coat of arms coming up. North 1, South 1 can turn their stances off. North 2, South 2 stances on. Healers back in position. As always, respect coat of arms, do not greed. Second set of reflects coming up. Work on the aura spheres once they spawn in. Remember, North 2, South 2, you'll invuln after they die. Adjust near you for any missed orbs. Healers LB if you have anyone still down. Healers LB if you have anyone still down. Healer LB3s, go, go, go. There is a very small window after the last one dies while that text line's going off to do it as well. There are 2 chests, make sure to get both of them. Thank you, Mushi.
Hi, Mushi.
Speaking of thanks, Mushi. So, Nintendo Switch Virtual Console emulator thing just put Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons on there. 2 of my absolute favorite Zelda games. They're highly underrated. And Moosh is a big, fat blue bear with tiny wings that could be one of your animal companions. Of course I went with Moosh, but every time I see him, I think of Mooshie. Mooshie is a big, lovable Hrothgar who did a lot of theory crafting for this kind of thing. Honestly, Ages and Seasons fuck, but they don't get enough love because Game Boy Color was like in its at the end of its life cycle and Advance was just coming out, so everyone was focused on the new hotness. The linking mechanic is just I don't know about like the game cable link stuff. I'd have to look that up. But like you just get codes, much like in the first one. You just get codes you enter in the other game. You're so good. Anyway, welcome to Phantom. So Phantom's pretty easy. A lot of this is just following main tank as we go around. Leon, you want to keep tanking? I'm gonna assume.
I'll give it a try.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You're through the hard parts of tanking, honestly. Really, this is just follow the symbols, follow the dots on the ground if you have to do donuts, move back and forth if I tell you to move over a line, etc. There is an add phase in the middle. We have to heal up the white adds to full and burn down the red adds. There are 3 waves. Don't use all your big heals on the same one at the same time. I have a call I used to say there, but it is not exactly appropriate for a moderator of a server to say. But my DMs are open because I also have no morals. So if anybody's curious, you know where to find me. I'll call it out if we get there. Anyway, once you step across the line, you are declaring yourself correct. Correct? Ready? I don't know. Words are hard. I'm exhausted. So step across the line once you're ready to go. Stance check. Only Leon should have it on. So, yeah, P-break is the next fight. But if people are bioing here, that's fine. We can just wait a sec. Let me tell a story, too. So, my statics started this tier late, just due to, like, work trips and stuff. So we're just now, really working on, 12 Prog. And 12 has angel mechanics that work very similar, like, angels that do, like, line AoEs. They feel similar to the fucking, like, Dalriada, like, calls. It's like the left-right, left-left kind of stuff. But it's always, like, left-left or right-right in the 2 lanes. Like, it's the fucking snakes from Zodiac, that pattern. So I've been just saying, like, you know, left safe or right safe. But then I started saying left-left and right-right. Then instead of saying right-right, I started, like, being a Namazu and saying yes. So then I started calling it the, yes pattern. And now we're just calling it the Washoi pattern. Wasoi! Yeah. Like, yeah, right? No, Wasoi. Alright, we're waiting on Yukari and Minope to cross the line. Awesome. Tank stance check, only Leon should have it on. Food check, vibe check, we are starting our countdown. Banish today should be brought to us by Stolas. Yeah, they've got it, awesome. You can basically pull with it as the countdown about runs out. We just want as much uptime on it as possible. Also, we re-up on actions at TA anyway. Please use your buffs. It's possible to kill it before ad phase. Doesn't happen much unless people are really pushing for it, but you never know. Damage is really high this run. Damage is high, but, like, I'm seeing more, like, twice and thrice come ruins. So it's like, everybody knows how to play their class, but, like, the fight knowledge isn't as on point. Also, the host is exhausted and may not be calling with quite the same, and, oh god, speaking of, there's a raid mine! Oh no! The bones! My poor bones! Anyway, we're going to A or to D. We're going to A! The donuts follow every dot on the ground. You follow every dot on the ground. Remember, there's a dot at the bottom, so there's a donut at the very bottom. Don't run into the wall, though. Main tank kind of has to stay ahead, like, to the front of the ring, just to, let other people get up time because the boss trails behind a bit. After 3 line pulses, we move over. There's 1, 2, and move to 2. Move to 2. We're gonna be starting at either 2 or 1 next. Nope, stay down here, stay down here. We're gonna start at 1. Start at 1. After 3 pulses, we move over a line. After 3 more pulses, we move back. There's 1, 2, move to 2, After 3 more pulses, we move back. There's 1, 2, and move back to 1. Boss is gonna jump centered for the ad phase next. Remember, there are 3 waves of ads. Don't use all your big heals on the same one at the same time. 3 waves of ads, then, after this fight are traps, so always keep in mind that. Don't go rushing ahead blindly. We will have some people run ahead with you to jump up and down and show you the trap locations, but at least one of the 2 Perceptors needs to pop it. There are traps after that fight as well, so if you only have 1 copy of Percept each, then probably double check with the other Perceptor. But either way is fine. Yeah, Leon's got it. Awesome. That's good to know.
And there's no traps nearby, just if you're wondering.
Ah, thank you. I have, oh, by the way, build gauge and resources, as there is a boss next. I once did a run of TS, where I was the duelist, and basically, I percepted in between every GCD. And the caller was like, that was legitimately distracting, and I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. There are no traps nearby.
Wasn't that Ragu's run?
I've done it on a couple different people's runs.
I know you did that on Ragu's run, and it was fucking killing me.
Anyway, there are traps going forward. The Perceptor can go dead center of this next room. Then there's one in this little alcove. Awesome. The next trap will be after the zone transition. There's another little alcove like that. Or foyer, or whatever the fuck.
The boudoir.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
I don't think it's actually a boudoir, but
Yeah. Just whatever fucking word we want to use. Ah, door prog! Please don't auto-run. You can go dead center of this room and Percept again. Once you found 3, we are good to go. We're gonna take a short break. We're gonna come... I'll give it like 5 minutes. We'll come back at... No, let's come back at 25 past. Check out some nerves. Get a drink, go to the bathroom. So, what? 6-minute break at this point? So, check out some nerves, get a drink, ask some questions, hastily review the TA guide. Whatever you gotta do. Share, we can worry about that, I think, on, I'm more worried about that on Queen than on here. It's not too hard to get, like, scraped up here, but, like, Queen, when you run out of re-raises, is where things can get really spooky. I do have to point out to folks that this is still a prog run technically. Things are going pretty nicely, but clears are never guaranteed. I know a lot of people here. This is like what gonna be their 2nd time to Queen, or for some people it's their 2nd time in the instance altogether. For some people it's been quite a while since they've been in. So it's hard not to get expectations up. Just that's called being human. But try not to get your expectations too high on this. I think everybody here has seen what Queen wipes can be like. Hopefully though, it all just depends on if people came prepared, really. Like, damage is really good. I'm not worried about damage. What I'm worried about is running out of re-raisers and staying dead on the floor so your damage doesn't matter. What I'm worried about is not quite understanding how a mechanic works but not asking about it, so people are dead on Queen when they could have asked and gotten more clarification, etc, etc. I'm always worried about Sigimalic Lord, but that is another story. That's none of y'all's fault. That's just Stidge being Stidge. But yeah, hopefully people are having a good time regardless. Is he eating enough? Getting rest? Haha, yeah, me too, mood. It is I, the Sigimalic Lord. For me, Stidge feels like just the level of coordination. It's like fucking like an everybody up test you get from a Savage, but in a 48% content. Not literally everybody up, but it feels more akin to that. It's like an Ultimates phase. It's like fucking it's fucking Living Liquid Dolls, like, but with 48 people. It's great. We love Stidge. The fact that they put it right at the end, something you can't practice in normal mode with no context.
Right after TA too.
Yeah. So congratulations on getting through here. Now, well, time to die.
Why, I have found out that nobody duels on Warrior.
Yeah, I did a duel on Warrior recently, and I got like a 99 bars with like crap action usage and just doing random shit.
I died. I died and I was dead for like 20-30 seconds. And I fumbled my second Blood Rage, and I still got rank 2, apparently.
Yeah, I've
Nobody duels on this class.
I know I did one duel on it, but I wasn't using a Blood Rage because I'm not doing that and calling at the same time. Lol. Yeah, imagine being good at this video game. It is fun playing Sam in here again because like from the time this content dropped till Endwalker, so like a little less than a year, I was Samurai on like not every run, but like 99+% of runs, and I was usually duelist on those runs too. Since then, I've been Sam like 3, maybe 4 times because I'm always playing like a support like I've done my time. I've pushed my logs. I don't care about that anymore. Like I'm here to help out and like fill in. But every now and then I like come back on melee or something, and it's just always a trip to be like, wow, holy shit, I am rusty. Like even if you're practice outside, granted, I'm not gonna say I'm practice on Sam outside. I'm not rating on it right now, but like I'm not that rusty on it outside. But like in here, there's so much specific tech and stuff. It's great. Alright, coming right up on 25, which is where I'll start a bit of explanation stuff. Yeah. I never want to start it too early, even if there are enough people around, because, like, I don't know. You don't want to have the one person who need to hear something be the person who's like, oh, 25, I have a minute to, like, splash water on my face and stare at myself in the mirror and wonder why I'm still awake. That kind of thing. Haha, it's me.
Sounds like we had 3 this morning.
Yeah. Alright, 25 passed. So, welcome everyone to Trinity Avowed. Y'all have all been here before. You know it's spooky. I'm gonna go over some of the stuff. 3 weapon swaps. Get front, back, or out as called for. The different phases, it's all about that hot, cold. Gotta zero it out. For the elemental brand, we have to add to or subtract from your elemental brand, or your hot, cold, to zero it out alongside that. I like to think of it as math. I think of fire as positive numbers, ice as negative numbers, and I do the math accordingly. But another way to think about it is you have to get hit to where you end up with the opposite of your elemental brand. Sometimes that clicks better for people, aiming to be the opposite of their elemental brand rather than aiming for 0. Doesn't always apply though. Remember that for sword 2, you can end up with a total of 3 or 4 on your hot cold. If you end up with 3 or 4, you need hit more than once. Do it in 2 separate hits. Never be on the intercards. Force March is a 2-square movement that depends on your character's facing. If you pop Sprint, it's going to be longer than a 2-square movement. Please don't greed. It's not worth it. Don't
Sure,
pop Sprint.
Ninja, it's more than 2 squares.
Yeah, that's true. Ninja's also, it's like 2.5 squares or so. Generally speaking, though, if you're going from the center line, the center column to the east or west, you're fine. Ninjas might be a little different, but as soon as you cross the line, you are guaranteeing you die if you have to go like east or west, that kind of thing. For sword cleaves, let me actually remember to put down markers so y'all are not screaming into the void. For sword cleaves, also go untargetable. I'll call out a safe square, the 1, 2, 3, or 4. You have to be a cardinal from the safe square. If you are intercardinal at all, you will die. I like to get to the safe square, spin my camera around to find the one I need hit by, and sidestep to the one to the side its sword is pointing towards. Don't worry about like it's facing or whatever. It'll be facing you basically, or facing wherever. But you have to make sure you're on the side its sword is on, otherwise you won't get hit by it. While staying a cardinal from the safe square, of course. For bow 2, there's a bit of a trickiness where clones appear north and east, where we have to dodge the we have to be on a line not hit by the clones, because they cleave the entire row or column. That happens first, and then there's a firewall. So you have to dodge the clone AoE first, and then get away from the firewall. Popping sprint helps, but my way of doing it, I just stand center between 2 potential safe squares, one to the left of me, one to the right of me. As soon as I see which wall is fire, I sidestep into the safe square away from the fire, and wait there until the orange goes off, etc. For the pipe game, they either follow every bend in the pipe, or they always follow every bend in the pipe, rather, but you either trace them yourself using your mouse or whatever, or you use that cheat sheet I just posted in DRS chat. Wherever it starts at the top, that's where it'll end up at the bottom. Just keep in mind normal or inverted, which will be called out for you. All tanks stacked for the tank buster. All main tanks want Aether Shield slotted. That is all main tanks. You will Aether Shield every raid wide. Off tanks, if you do not trust your main tank, or if they tell you please don't trust me, you also want to swap or slot in Aether Shield and Aether Shield every raid wide. Otherwise, off tanks, if your main tank dies, you're expected to swap into it. Last little thing to cover, I think, is you don't want to res people during hot cold phases, because it can make it impossible for them to live if they get rezzed. If you res during a staff phase with the orbs, you automatically kill that person. If you res during sword, they can just go to the safe square twice and be fine. So sword is technically fine to res if they, but if you res and they only get like 1 hot cold, it becomes tricky. Resing during bow, they would have to follow the empty spot along, which you have to do if you get a zeroed out anyway. But it could also get tricky. So generally speaking, just wait for the in-betweens for it. Yeah, does anyone have any questions? Anything you want me to go over more in depth rather than cliff notes, etc.? Otherwise, you can cross the line once you're ready to go. Yeah, what's up? It is the lines on the floor. There are lines on the floor. Yep, it's the ground squares. It does exactly follow the grid. So yeah, as soon as you're over a line, you'll get killed by it. That's why I say cardinal square. I am talking about those squares on the ground, that pattern. Whichever safe square, that whole square gets hit by nothing. And any square that shares a full solid line with that safe square is a good one to be. Yeah, right? There are lines on the floor. No, honestly, that's not a bad question. Like, waiting on quite a few people across the line. I understand running around like a chicken with your head cut off, but please do so in the arena. Xavius is still across the line, whether they're ready or have questions. If you need shell, send off to the left in the arena. If you need protect, that's only main tank, I suppose. I'm not too worried about it. Leanna will live. If anybody's got shell to apply off to the left, this is a fight where it's sorely needed, so everybody should have it, or have enough fortitude to not care, I suppose. Fight's about 10 minutes long. All of them about are. Generally speaking, I like to go into a boss fight with 5 charges of each 2 minute. So 5 charges of Font of Power, 5 charges of Honored Sacrifice. That kind of thing. Alright, well, my party is still largely lacking shell, but that's on them at this point, unless the healers are going to apply as we start. So, tank stance check, food check, vibe check. I'm starting our countdown. Everybody makes their own decisions in life. Hopefully the vibes are good. I do pride myself on good vibes, but I'm also exhausted and can't remember 30 seconds ago. Speaking of seconds, this fight starts out with a tank buster. We have all tanks go to the front for the pull. Stance check, please. We don't want that pointed towards the party. Food check, etc., etc. And we're gonna start off with weapon swaps. After the tank buster, that is. So it's a Tank Buster, then Raid Wide after that. Aether Shield and Mitigate for the Raid Wide. Aether Shield and Mitigate for the Raid Wide. After this will be our 3 weapon swaps. Gonna be, get behind the boss, get behind the boss, back towards the entrance. Back towards the entrance, way we already were. Afterwards, we're gonna get to the front of the boss. Ranging casters can get front and out. It's gonna be front of the boss first. Let's make sure you're at the front. Melee can stay in. Next up, we'll be getting out. Melee can wait for the Pulse of Light. But Fi, I might hear you ask. What Pulse of Light? Well, dear reader, that one. And Staff Phase is first. Obviously. Check your hot cold. Check your hot cold. Check your forced march direction. Get center, mitigate, regens, keep people topped up. We're going to get marched to the orb that resolves your debuff. Find your orb, get marched to the orb that resolves. Do not greed. Do not greed. We're also going to return with a Raid Wide. Once we group back up, we can Aether Shield and Mitigate. Group back up, Aether Shield and Mitigate. Aether Shield and Mitigate. Next up is Bow Phase. Boss is going to reposition center. We're going to get south behind the boss. South behind the boss. Tank to the front for another shared Tank Buster. Check your forced march direction. We're going to be getting to march towards either Bravo or Delta away from the firewall. You can just watch one and adjust if you need to go to the other. We're getting march towards Delta. March towards Delta. Do not greed. Do not greed. 2 square movement unless you're a ninja. If you re-raise in the fire, you might have a chance to be rescued. Keep an eye out for rescues. Check your hot cold. Check your hot cold. Clones are spawning. Normal pattern. Normal pattern. Do not greed. DPS is just fine, y'all. Alright, we're gonna group back up for a Raid Wide. Once you group back up, you can Aether Shield and Mitigate. Aether Shield and Mitigate, point the boss back towards the center of the arena. No need to run it all the way back, you just point it. Make sure you're at the front of the boss. That's pointing towards the center. Boss is pointing towards the center, make sure you're at the front of it. Here towards the center of the arena. Awesome. Boss is going untargetable for too long, mind your cooldowns. Let's see who practiced. Keck W. Check your hot cold. Check your hot cold. Clones are spawning. Never be on intercards. Cardinal from the safe square only, please. Clones are spawning. We got 4 is safe. 4 is safe. Cardinal from 4. If you end on 2, you're gonna die. 4 or a cardinal from it. If you end on 2, you're gonna die. As Daft Punk said, one more time. 3 is safe. 3 is safe. If resolved, go there. If you end on 1, you're gonna die. 3 or a cardinal from it. If you end on 1, you're gonna die. Remember to pop a re-raiser if you die for whatever reason. Back to bursting. Aether Shield and Mitigate for the Raid Wide. Aether Shield and Mitigate. All of that's gonna loop. Next is gonna be getting out from the boss. Melee coming from the Pulse of Light. We got a bit though. And everybody out. This time we're gonna walk to the orbs that resolve the debuff, but we have to check north and east for clones. First off, check your hot cold. Check your hot cold. Add or subtract your elemental brand. This is your new total. Get center, mitigate, regens to keep you topped up. Again, walk or sprint to the orb that resolves your debuff after this goes off. Walk or sprint to the orb that resolves. Check north and east for clones. If you're confident on your spot, you can jump up and down there. I'm also going to return with a raid wide. Group back up, and then make sure to Aether Shield and mitigate. Group back up, Aether Shield, and mitigate. Boss is going to reposition center. We're going to get south behind the boss. It's south behind the boss. We have a nice little wombo combo phase coming up. Clones are going to appear north and east. They cleave the entire row or column. We have to dodge them first. The squares to the side of the queen are the safe ones. Pop sprint if you need it. We're going towards Bravo, so get to the sides of the queen first and then to the wall at Bravo. Get to the wall at Bravo now. If you re-raise in the fire, you might need rescued. Alright, shopping list. Check your hot, cold. Add or subtract your elemental brand. This is your new total. If they zero out, you have to follow the empty spot along. It follows all the same rules. Follows every bend in the pipe. Hot, cold, elemental brand, forced march direction. Inverted pattern. Inverted pattern. Find out where you gotta go. Point the forced march. Play it safe, y'all. We do have LB3 after this, but we need healers to survive. Tanks point to the wall with a shared tank buster. Tanks point to the wall. Shared tank buster first, followed by raid wide. Healers are good to LB3. Or raid wide first, rather. Sorry, that's my bad. Now the tank buster. Healers can LB3 if needed. Real sorry about that, y'all. Swords is next. Make sure to get to the wall with the tanks. I was hoping we'd skip this. Get to the wall with the tanks. It's a tight little spot, or we can just kill it. That works too. Cool. That's what I was hoping for. Alright, there is a chest to get, especially if this is your first clear, which I don't think it's anybody's, but you can go back and help pop the pink traps with me. The mini's how we get to Stidge. Please no one run ahead to Queen.
Would this be the best time for impetus for the mini person?
Honestly, hell yeah.
The only
Deja.
hidden DRS.
Yeah. Deja vu. I have been in this place before. Fire in the street. A nice little crowd of people coming here. Alright, well, we're off to the fun part. The best fight in the instance.
You mean in a game?
Honestly, like, imagine if they decide to, like, the next Adventuring 4A content, all the fights are like that kind of thing. Because, the
That'd
one
be
thing...
great, but, like, a lot of people would just drop out.
Honestly, yeah, like, I would just have to be a lot stricter. Like, I already plan on taking, like, 2 weeks off of work and just running every single day hosting stuff. But I'll have to be super, super picky anyway with who I take. Because, like, this content still has hands now. But back in the day, the DPS checks were so much worse. We had to gatekeep logs just to, like, take people who could stay alive for TA. Fucking miserable. I don't want to do that again. But, like, if they made just so much of Sigmalic Lord fights, like, well, alright, here we go. There are traps in the next area. Once you go through this, the zone transition, be ready for traps. Don't rush ahead unless you are very certain about the positioning.
Secondary door prog.
Yep. Do not go, yeah, you don't ever want to go straight into this room. There's a trap on the bridge, by the way. Trap on the bridge. Already found. Awesome. Yeah. Sometimes, like, people will be like, oh, the other rooms I can just run straight into, like, the octagonal rooms or whatever. You can't actually do that for Stitch. Alright, so, we've all been here before, or at least most of us. Y'all know what to expect. Nope. Percept is donezo. So, around this one marker, I need 4 main tanks for the 4 ads. Alright, Loxus says west. Awesome. Let me just mark the tanks in order. I need 4 off tanks, 1 to stand with each of them. It can be main or off tank in a party, doesn't matter, but your job just standing there will be to play support and help pop traps. I will start voluntelling people, this is not optional. The 2 spot is for 2 tanks with Dispel. So, Anastasia and Minelp have Dispel. So we've got Claire with Tequila, we've got Mika with Twimble, we got Alessandro with Leon, I'm assuming. I need a tank to be standing with Loxus over here. Dara, thank you. So the way this is gonna work, I am gonna talk through full explanations here for the ad phase because it's Stidge, why wouldn't I? So, most of the boss doesn't matter. The one thing to keep in mind is that the ad phase is where we use all our bursts, the ad phase has hands, the ad phase is what we're worried about. Once the ad phase starts, those 4 tanks will get to the 4 cardinals they need to go to, their off tank goes with. So once the ad phase starts, it'll be Dara and Loxus off to the west, it'll be Leon and Alessandro up to the north, it'll be Mika and Twimble off to the east, it'll be Claire and Tequila down to the south. The main tanks will have their stances on, in fact they can do so now, those 4 tanks. The party starts killing the south one first. The main tanks need to grab their ad and rotate clockwise. You stay in the, you stay in between the, you stay on your ring, you keep the ad kited in the purple goo in between the rings, staying about a ranged attack ahead. Off tanks, the 4 off tanks move with their main tanks. The first thing that happens on that outside is traps. So, what'll happen is, when traps are going out, Loxius and Dara will be up to the north, Leon and Alessandro will be to the east, basically everyone rotated. Twimble and Mika will be to the south, Claire and Tequila will be to the west, once those traps start going out. Wait at the cardinal for the traps to lock in, it's where that orange disappears, and then it is the job of those 4 off tanks to pop their invuln. That's Dara, Alessandro, Mika, and Claire. If you are a warrior and have something targeted, you can't home gang unless you're close. So just untarget by pressing escape or something, and then you can use your home gang whenever. But once those traps lock in, it's the job of those off tanks to pop their invuln and then sprint ahead clockwise to just pop the trap before the main tank gets there. Healers, please watch your tanks to see if they get a doom or a poison or whatever. Be ready to Asuna if needed. Heal them back up. Living dead means, you know the drill. After that, the main tanks and their off tanks just keep kiting things clockwise. That's not too bad after you deal with that first start bit. The job of the 2 Dispel tanks, that was Anastasia and Minelpt, you just stay center ring. You'll be the only 2 tanks or melee center. You will dispel every earth orb. You can do so from anywhere on that center ring and then kill it with a ranged attack. Not too bad, just stay alive. Healers have a special job. Healers all need to be on the center ring. Your job is to reflect or light curtain and pop the fire orbs. Same kind of thing we did with Queen. They'll do periodic pulses, just pop, reflect, and get near them. Do not go near the fire orb unless you already have reflect ticking on your buff bar. It can very easily server tick you. No need to greet it. So healers will keep periodically get those. They spawn throughout the fight. If you don't have a job, you start to the south on the outside ring. You kill that ad. You rotate clockwise as the ads move. Keep in mind, if you're on the outside ring, once those traps start to lock in at the beginning, get out of orange. Once the orange disappears, none of that spot is safe. I often see people dodge into a nook thinking, the nook will save me, and then instantly die to the trap that spawned under their feet because they were on orange. Don't stand on orange. So you just get to a cardinal on the outside ring when I tell you to do so. It only happens the once, so it's not that bad. Besides all of that, there are a few things that everybody needs to be worried about. Debuffs periodically apply. The first time they apply, they resolve almost immediately after. The second time they apply, and henceforth, there will be some breaks in between. If it looks like a person being pushed back into the corner of your debuff, that is a knockback. If it looks like a mouth sucking in spaghetti, that is a draw-in effect. You have to get to the little nooks, either close to or far from the boss, to be pushed or pulled accordingly. One note for the 4 main tanks. Try to stay a ranged attack ahead, like I said. If you're about to dodge into a nook for any reason, and there's a nook right next to you, try to make it to the next one, because the ad will keep moving. The only time the ad stops moving is for traps, so that's the only time you should stop moving is for those traps locking in. Otherwise, you should keep moving and only dodge into nooks as needed and dodge back out to keep moving. There are purple lightning currents that go through the middle of the nooks, middle of the rings as well. Just dodge into a nook to dodge them. Multiple sets of ground AoEs, black mage is punished. Don't just stand there casting on one. Keep moving, dodge AoEs, etc. Knockback immune does not work for that. It does work for the wax and the other phase though. So yeah, besides the ad phase, remember we save all bursts for that. Everything else is handled by calls. Generally speaking, make sure your knockback immune's on your buff bar just for when I call that out. Yeah, you can cross the line into the arena once you're ready to go. If anyone has any questions, please ask. This is very much a, like, are those roles that are assigned fulfilled kind of check. It doesn't matter how much everybody else knows the fight, you can watch this whole thing spiral out of control. DPS on the outer ring starting to the south. Alright, if you weren't assigned a job and you're like a tank, your job is to help pick up any ads that go wild, even if it's at the cost of your own life. Those 4 off tanks are generally there to pick up if their main tank dies, but they're not always tuned in or alive for it. If you end up with aggro on any, Stolas, good question. There's only 1 fire orb at a time in the middle ring. So as long as you're on the middle ring, just get that one, reflect it, stand near it, etc. Good question though. Unlike Queensguard, it's just one that somebody just has to get it. We just throw all of the healers at it because deaths are very common here, and we don't want to just assign it to 1 or 2 people because that's a good way for it to, yeah. They asked which fire orb to reflect, but yep, there's just the one. Looks like Temujin's still across the line. Once you're ready to go, we can get going. Stance check. All 4 of those main tanks can have their stances on. Food check. Vibe check. Actions check. Starting our countdown. Remember, we're going to use our DPS actions on the ads, not on the boss itself. The boss jumps away at 70%. That's kind of your timer for when main tanks need to be able to get into position, etc. Save all bursts and actions and whatever for the ad phase. Correct, Alessandro. As long as you know which your main tank is, you can just follow them. They are all individually marked. Fight starts out with a tank buster on whichever main tank ends up with aggro. It's Leon! Hooray. Help me, Leon! And everybody knock back immune and get close to the boss. Knock back immune and get close to dodge the wax. There are 3 sets of wax. Don't just sit casting, make sure to dodge them. Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Don't just sit dodging, or don't just sit casting. We're gonna have a big fuck off purple AoE, or big fuck off chariot AoE next. Get out, get out, get out. It's bigger than you think. Tanks be getting into your position as the next phase is starting. Tanks, get to your positions. Healers positions in the middle ring, DPS on the outside ring, dispel tanks inside, etc. Tanks pick up your ad, rotate clockwise with that ad. Rotate clockwise about a range attack ahead. Use your burst here, please. Get these dead. We have a fire and an earth orb. Outside ring, get to a cardinal. Get to a cardinal. Do not be on orange. Do not be on orange. Do not be on orange. It is the job of the off tank to pop their trap ahead of them. Off tank invuln and pop the trap ahead of you. Debuffs going out. Push or pull. Get to a nook. Resolve your debuffs. Push or pull. Get to a nook. Resolve your debuffs. And back at it. Get to a nook. Dodge the lightning. Another fire orb left to get. Another fire orb left to get. Another fire and earth orb. Debuffs are about to apply, but we got some downtime before they start going off. I say downtime, none of this is downtime. Lightning current, get to a nook. Lightning current coming up, get to a nook. Alright, gonna be sets of ground AoEs. Got another fire and earth left to get. Ground AoEs don't get got. Debuffs are gonna resolve. Push or pull. Get to your nook. Push or pull. Resolve your debuffs. Push or pull. And keep at it. Fire and earth will still need resolved. Watch for that fire. Don't rush straight back in. Awesome, we're good to go. Start picking people up. They can start building gauge and resources. Raid Wide is going off. No need to wait. We do not get LB. Don't build gauge and resources right away, obviously. If you get a purple circle on you, take it out to the edge. Purple AoE's out. There's this one set. This will be followed by the big fuck-off chariot AoE. It's bigger than you think. Get out, get out, get out. And back at it. We have 2 more sets of those purple AoEs. If you get a purple AoE on, you take it out to the edge. Rapid bolts out. Oh no, it's me. 1 more set to take out. Rapid bolts out. After this is a proximity. Get away from the proximity. Don't rush straight back in. The damage is delayed after the jump. After this will be wax, though. Get back in and dodge the wax. Remember, just focus on dodging. Don't start casting and stuff till they're all done. No need to die here on a fight where we don't get LB. Alright. Gonna be a, another tank buster. Get away from main tank. Currently Leon. Once this goes off, knockback immune, get close. 3 more wax. Don't get whacked. I hope Party F enjoys the whacker. And whoever else is using it, because you never know.
There's like 3 of those in Party A.
I love it. Alright, good shit, y'all. Honestly, the spookiest part of the run. We do have some bodies to pick up still. It is free to make your way to Queen at this point. There are no traps ahead. Cher is DCing. Probably Pokeballing of some kind.
Yep.
Queen is a spot where, like, if you have a re-raiser, you'll definitely want to use it. I know Cher probably has some, lost re-raisers to go around, so we can, distribute some of those.
There they go.
Alright. I definitely put too much lime juice in this, but that's fine, because lime is delightful.
Never such a thing as too much lime juice.
Well, balance is very important in a cocktail, though, right? Like,
I mean, yes.
But all good, like, you know, Twimble, as far as the tanking goes. The real spooky part is when there's all 4 out. When there's 3, 4 is terrifying. 3 is spooky. 2 is worrisome. When there's 1 ad, it doesn't really matter who has it, right? Like, as long as, you know, if they stop moving and it kills them, that's on them at that point. Alright. Hello, my friends, welcome to Queen. So, we'll wait for Cher and the healers to be up here. Like before, you can shake out some nerves, whatever you need to do. And yeah, we'll, we might have some people who have lost re-raise and the like. We'll go through that once we know what's up. Yeah, Cher had some. I had them save them for here. Basically for this exact reason. Like, we could scrape people off the ground in the earlier fights, but Queen, you know, can have hands. The way we're typically gonna do this, stand back on this, like, set of stairs back here if you are completely out of re-raisers. And then we're going to prioritize the people, like, healers and the like. If you're completely out of re-raisers and actually worried about it. Like, if you're a vet who's out of re-raisers and don't care. Like, I saw Loxy start to walk back here. I'm not sure if you actually care that much. So it looks like we got, like, what? 5 people that are out? It's not too bad, actually. Unless other people just aren't, yeah. Yeah, this fight is largely a caller check. There's some, like, knowing what to do with what I tell you, but I'm gonna go through full explanations here. I've done kind of cliff notes on the other bosses. This one's getting full explanations, because, yeah, it's a lot of people's, like, second time here, maybe first, maybe it's been a month. So, Lost Stack, that is used, like, mid-fight on, like, a healer to LB if needed. if like all your healers are dead, kind of stuff. Like if both your healers are dead and you're like the off tank or whatever. So, okay, this staircase here is reserved for people who do not have a re-raiser. Don't stay on that staircase unless you, don't have, unless you, yeah. Anyway, just making sure people don't group up when they don't need it. Once you get a re-raise, you can step away. I know Stolas is a healer, Tequila is a tank, Claire is a tank. So healer is the most important. Glad that Stolas got it. Yeah, Tequila and Claire could use it, then I think we're probably good. Yeah, see, this is a math bot fight, but for me. Awesome. I think we got our re-raiser situation figured out. Lovely. Hello everybody, welcome to Queen. Couple things of bookkeeping to go over. First of all tanks need tank stance on. All tanks, tank stance on. Our aggro comrade, we are all tanks. We're all main tank today. Also, all tanks want Aether Shield slotted, except Carter, you're not a tank, you don't count. All tanks want Aether Shield slotted. You will Aether Shield every raid wide. Don't count on your co-tank to get it, just pretend they're not there and Aether Shield every raid wide. The move is called Empyrean Iniquity. I will call it out. But yeah, Aether Shield every raid wide. 9 is enough. You can get through, there's 8 uses in the entire fight. PA has 7 uses, this has 8 uses, so it works out perfectly for just 1. The Tank Buster is a bit special. Right before the cast part, or right at the start of it, I will call out for tanks in A, B, and C to provoke and mitigate. After the first hit, as it is a 2-hit Tank Buster, I will call for tanks in D, E, and F to provoke and mitigate. Healers, keep an eye on your tanks. If they get Doom, Asuna the Doom off of them, otherwise they die. That is your top priority if one of your tanks gets Doom. That happens multiple times throughout the fight, I'll just call it out as we get there. A different tank needs to end up tanking it than one of those two, as they do have a Fizzbolt. If you get tank busted, just turn your stance off and hopefully someone else will range attack or provoke and pick it off you or whatever. It doesn't end up being all that bad to deal with. So as for actual mechanics, the first real mechanic is Chess 1. Chess 1, Super Chess, whatever you want to call it. This is a safety circle mechanic. So you can see up at the front of the path, I have a circle above my head, a circle marker. You can focus target me, and that'll make that circle stay visible longer during the fight. The safety circle is your friend. Love the circle, trust the circle. For Chess 1, I will start calling out things like be safe, D safe. I am not calling out markers, I am tracking rows and columns. Wait for the North Swain's glow lines to appear. I will book it towards the spot and tell you, alright, here, make sure you're on the same square of the ground as me, about as far away as the explosions could track into the lines, or into the square a bit. But yeah, be grouped up near the circle on the same square, it's pretty fine. We might have to move in or out a column after those first robot hits. Just move as called for. If you can stay put, that's great too. Sometimes I'll run in for melee uptime, but like, either follow the circle or just listen to calls either way. There's a Tank Buster and Raid Wide after that, followed by Chess 2. Chess 2, Super Chess, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to explain that out at the very end to keep it fresh in your memory. So, Super Chess comes later. After the boss returns, there's God Save the Queen, a heavy-hitting Raid Wide, followed by the Sovereignty phase. Oh yeah, at this time, a quick reminder to keep moving your something so you don't get AFK kicked. Sovereignty phase will put a Sovereignty bar on the screen that ticks up to 100. Once it hits 100, the Sovereignty phase begins. Lightning orbs spawn around the arena. The boss teleports first, then lightning orbs spawn. The boss also gets 4 buffs that need dispelled. Those orbs can be reflected to turn into a bubble. We only need to reflect 1, not spread out and get all of them, so just need to get 1. This is where light curtains and reflects are very helpful. In every Lost Action loadout, there are light curtains, and this fight is the reason why. Once the boss teleports, you pop your light curtain, and then you get on a lightning orb near the boss. If you do not have a light curtain to pop, the boss's lightning orb explosions are about the size of the boss's hitbox, so just get away from all lightning orbs if you don't have a reflect your light curtain. The orbs can spawn in the wall, so don't just trust that hugging the wall is safe. Get away from them. Afterwards, once a bubble pops, that bubble is safe. Everybody can get there. When you're in the bubble, we need tanks to be dispelling the boss, 4 buffs that need dispelled off. If they don't get got, we all die to stuff afterwards. If you hear me yelling dispel, that's why. So again, to go through Sovereignty phase, boss will teleport, you pop a light curtain as soon as the boss starts to teleport. You get to any orb near the boss, if it'll get a reflect, turn into the bubble, stand in the bubble, you're good. If you do not have a light curtain, get away from all lightning orbs. Always assume one spawned under your feet until you can prove otherwise. The explosions are about the size of the boss's hitbox. So, after that, all of the mechanics in the fight are modified Queensguard mechanics. So I hope you're confident on Queensguard. The first one we get is Warrior Gunner. It will give us tethers that you check for, and then line explosions where only one of the 4 cardinals is safe, A, B, C, or D. You get to the safe cardinal, then you get to green or to purple, like in Queensguard, and when you're at green or purple, you have to turn your gap towards the gunner for another round of the gap mechanic. The gunner is to the northwest, not center. So gunner's to the northwest, you turn your gap towards gunner, then gap towards a turret you're aligned with. And that ends that phase. There's a tank buster next, followed by the knight soldier combo. For knight soldier, we get knocked back from the orb in the center, we go bowling, but this time we go bowling to dodge the cleave from the queen. She'll cleave one side, it hits about 60% of the arena. Just watch for the angle, this is another good safety circle spot. Love the circle, trust the circle, stand on me and hope I've chosen a good spot for us all to be knocked to. After that first cleave, 2 clones are safe, 2 are unsafe. Try to get between the safe ones and pop sprint. One of the spots on the safe ones will be safe, obviously, from another cleave from the queen. So you pop sprint, you make it there, you follow the group. It's another safety circle or listen to calls kind of thing. It's not too bad to deal with. After that's another raid wide, followed by the second chest 2. Yes, that's right, it happens twice. After that is a tank buster. That's usually the time to LB to pick people up. And then the knight gunner combo. The knight will do sword or shield and then teleport onto a random person. Try to stack up with the rest of the group to make it nice and easy so it doesn't end up on the other side of the arena. It does sword or shield, and then we either have to get out on the safe side or stay in and hug it on the safe side. I will call it out best I can. The angle can be weird, but just watch for the nails around it if you need to. While that is going off, we have bouncing bullet turrets that appear. The bullet turrets can bounce once, twice, or thrice. It's not just twice and twice like in normal mode. So just respect them, give them a wide berth, do not grieve. After that is another sovereignty phase. The boss actually teleports while the turrets are bouncing. So as the boss is teleporting, pop a light curtain. Get to a lightning orb or away from them all, depending on what you have. Get into a bubble, dispel the buffs off the queen one more time, and that is the last of the sovereignty phases, followed by a raid wide. The last combo is Soldier Warrior. You'll get tethers that tell us what bomb you're going to, and then a blue knockback line appears. As soon as you see the blue line, you can pop your knockback immune. Don't stand on the line, that will just kill you, but you can pop your immune and just stay near it, whatever. Then you have to get to the bombs instead of getting knocked back into them. You can just stand on your bomb and knock back immune, but either way, get to your small or large, whatever, and there's a fire ice. You either move in small circles on your bomb or stay still on your bomb doing nothing. If you land before your bomb does, adjust where an explosion just happened, just like in Queensguard. And then we have Soft Enrage. At the start of Soft Enrage, everybody has to group up. Main tanks use Aether Shield. When theirs is about to fall off, I will call for off tanks to use Aether Shield. Healers just focus on healing if needed, keep your parties alive. Tanks, if you don't need if you don't need healer LB to pick people up there, tank LB is honestly good for surviving some of them. And we either clear or we don't. So, time to talk about Chest 2. Chest 2, Super Chest, whatever you want to call it. There is a chess simulator, but we don't care about the simulator. What we care about is listening to Phi. There's a nice little handy-dandy infographic we have here. Fancy Queen infographic, LOL, listen to Phi. So, the boss goes untargetable, and a glowing blue goal tile appears north or south. I'm going to quickly reset these markers and show you what I mean. So, there is the A square there to the north, kind of hard to see, and the C square here to the south. They won't have the A or C when the time comes, but one of those two squares will glow blue. That is your safe square. Reorient the safe square to be your new north, so when I say something like left, it means the same thing for you as it does for me. Make it just the far away from you, that's the top of your screen, the new north, and add up your debuffs. Debuffs add to 5, 6, or 7. It doesn't matter the order, depending on what you have, I will tell you where to go. Let's assume that the north, the actual north, is the safe spot here. So we'd actually start from this side, and I will give you some sample calls. Calls might look something like, 5s to 3, we're talking about the squares they're on, by the way. 5s to 3, 6s to the right of them, 1 square to the right. 7s to the right of them, 1 more square to the right. It makes a nice little conga line, 5, 6, and 7s all on different squares. Another sample call might be 5s to 4, 6s to the right of them, 7s to C. Another pattern would be 5s to C, 6s to the right of them, 7s to the right of them. You get the picture, that kind of thing. There is one pattern that is different though. It looks like 7s to 3, so 7s to 3, 6s to the corner, right next to them, 6s to the corner, and then 5s would either go to 4, to D, or to A, depending on the pattern. Just listen for calls there. 5s just have to be ready to adjust. You sprint if you need to. Either way, you adjust to your spot and you wait there for the first robot AoEs. You do nothing until those first AoEs. Once those AoEs go off, you'll have red dots above your head that tell you how many squares you need to move. Doesn't really matter though. You'll move up the leftmost safe column. It's either this far left one that has the 4 on it, or this column one further in that has the 3 and the D on it. I'll call something like move up the wall or move up the D column, something like that. As you're moving up towards the gold tile, the dots above your head will tick down. Once you've gone too far, or once you've gone enough, they disappear. If you go a square too far, you get a red line above your head. Red line is a sign that you've gone too far and have to go back a square before it's done. So please, 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 if you're popping sprint there, don't just keep booking it. Watch for that red line and be ready to double back a square, otherwise you will guaranteed get killed. Provided you started at the right spot and moved in the right way. Once you can move again after getting stunned, you go straight to the gold tile and it automatically resolves your second debuff. Don't worry about, think about things like Dervish, Cure 4, your reopeners, etc. Even if it's wrong, you want to die there because that gives your re-raiser more of a chance to work, etc. Alright, that is it. That's the fight. Please cross the purple line into the arena once you're ready to go. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I know there's a lot to it. Almost all of it's handled by calls. I just want to give you an idea of what to do with those calls. No, you never have to run past the safe square and back into it. Provided you start on the square that you're told for your number, and move, like, to the left in your lane, and then up the leftmost safe column. So that's the important part. Like, wherever you start, you always move to the left, and then up the leftmost safe column, which is either the far left one or one further in, as I call for. You can always follow the group if needed. Looks like Yule is still across the line, but he's close enough. I think he's ready to go. Alright, tank stance check. Tanks need stance on. You are all main tank, our aggro comrade. Food check, make sure you've got at least 10 minutes on it. Actions check. You need Aether Shield if you're a main tank. Dispel for a couple tanks preferably. Light curtains on your bar somewhere. Damage actions otherwise. Oh, spinning the boss is great. Just try to make sure you're grouped up enough to where your Aether Shield can hit everybody. Anyway, I'm gonna start our countdown. Deep breath, y'all. We might get it, we might not. Y'all know how this is. Either way, if we clear, next week is a re-clear. If we don't clear, next week is gonna be a guaranteed clear, where I'm a lot more selective about people. Deep breaths. This fight starts with a raid wide. You can pre-shield your parties, just don't pre-Aether Shield. Everyone should generally stay grouped up together, including whoever ends up main tanking it, as there are no positionals. It's a big boss. Alright. Raid wide is gonna be first. Aether Shield and mitigate. Aether Shield and mitigate. Chest 1 is next. Remember, I'm gonna call out letters and numbers. I am not calling out markers. If I say BD, I am not saying B and D. Wait for me to tell you where to go. So it is currently ABD safe. ABD 134. ABD 134. ABD 134. Where are you going? Honestly, right here in the middle. You can even be on the far square, doesn't really matter. This is not safe for long. Make sure to go over to the east 1. You're on the 1 column. Awesome, well done, y'all. Tank Buster is next. ABC, provoke, and mitigate. Healers, watch for dooms. DEF, provoke and mitigate. Again, healers watch for dooms as soon as they get it. Raid Wide is next. Aether Shield and mitigate. Aether Shield and mitigate. Following this is chest 2. Boss is gonna go untargetable and a glowing blue gold tile appears north or south. Reorient the gold tile to be your new north and add up your debuffs. Reorient the gold tile if needed. Alright, we got back safe, wall safe. 7s to 3, 6s to the corner, 5s to 4. 7s to 3, 6s to the corner, 5s to 4. Wait for first robot AoEs. Wait for first robot AoEs. Wait for them. Wait for them. We're gonna move up this left wall after these go off. Move up this left wall. Stop after resolving. If you see a red line above your head, go back a square. Red line means go back. Red line means go back. Go straight to the goal tile. Straight to the goal. Start thinking about your reopener, cure 4, dervish, etc. Even if it's wrong, you want to die here. That gives you the best chance for it to succeed. Re-raisers and the like. Alright. Back at it. God Save the Queen is next. It is a heavy-hitting raid-wise. Aether Shield and mitigate. Aether Shield and mitigate. Remember a re-raiser if you die for whatever reason. It's gonna put that sovereignty bar on your screen. Make sure you've got your light curtains or reflects readily active. Or ready to be activated. Once that sovereignty bar hits 100, the boss teleports. That's when we use them. Light curtains, light curtains. Watch for lightning orbs. Get away if you don't have a light curtain active. Get into a bubble, get into a bubble. Need 2 more buffs dispelled, 2 more buffs dispelled, 1 more. Awesome, well done. Warrior Gunner combo is next. This is gonna start out with tethers that tell us whether we go to green or to purple. Remember, we get a set of scales on your debuff bar if you had them. Check for a tether, check for a tether. Tethers will go to green, rest to purple, but wait till I tell you which cardinal to go to. We are going south to C. We are going south to C. Turn your gap towards the gunner in the northwest. Gap towards the gunner in the northwest. Gap towards a turret you're aligned with. A turret you're aligned with. Tank Busters, ABC, provoke and mitigate. DEF, provoke and mitigate. Asuna if they die. Or if they doom. Knight Soldier combo is next. The boss is gonna go untargetable for too long, mind your cooldowns. We're gonna get knocked back from the orb of the center to dodge the cleave from the queen. Alright, watch for both. Alright, we're getting knocked towards C. Knocked towards C-ish. It's a little tight. Alright. We're getting between A and D. We're going to go to A. Go to A. That is what we call a bad pattern. Not much you can do about that. There's a very tight safe spot for it. Raid Wide is next. Group back up. Aether Shield and mitigate. Aether Shield and mitigate. Test 2 is next. Remember, we're gonna reorient the gold tile to be our new north and add up our debuffs. Reorient if needed, add up debuffs once they pop up. Alright, we got back safe, wall safe. 7s to 3, 6s to the corner, 5s to 4. 7s 3, 6s corner, 5s to 4. Same pattern as before. 7s 3, 6s corner, 5s to 4. Wait for the first robot AoEs. Wait for the first robot AoEs. Wait for him. Move up the left wall, stop after resolving. If you see a red line above your head, go back a square. You went too far. Red line means go back. You can move straight to the gold tile, start thinking about Reopener, Cure 4, Dervish, etc. The first thing we're gonna have, once we're back to it, is a Tank Buster. After that Tank Buster is generally the time to heal our LB. So make sure your tanks are safe before using your LB. ABC, Provoke and Mitigate. DEF, Provoke and Mitigate. Healers, as soon as the Doom before you hit that LB button. As soon as Healers, as soon as the Doom, and then LB. Healers can LB if anybody's down. Please group up center once you res. Please group up center. We have to all be center-ish. The Knight's gonna teleport on a random person. If we're not all center, it can be spooky. It's doing sword. We're gonna get under the Knight after it teleports, and then pop sprint if you need to, move out towards the safe side. Under the Knight, we're moving out towards the wall at D, Bouncing bullet turrets, respect them, do not greed, There's gonna be another sovereignty phase. Light curtains, watch for lightning orbs. Get into a bubble. Dispel. We're in the home stretch, y'all. Close this out. Raid wide, Aether Shield and Mitigate. One last combo to deal with, the Soldier Warrior combo. First thing we're gonna get are tethers that tell us what bombs we go to. And then that blue line appears. As soon as you see that blue line on the ground, that's when you pop your knockback immune. I will call it out. Be the time before that, though. Check for a tether. Tethers will go to large, rest will go to small. Do not be on the blue line. Pop your knockback immune. Do not be on the line. Tethers large, rest small. Do not be on the knockback line. Move in small circles on your bomb.
No.
Please don't hot mic. There are calls going out. If you land before your bomb does, adjust for an explosion just happened. Everybody group up center for soft enrage. Main tanks, Aether Shield. Healers, focus on healing. We've got the DPS. Just keep your party alive. Get go! Hell yeah!
I'm pretty sure I was the only person actually dispelling the queen.
Probably. Thank you for your sacrifice. Anyway, a lot of fucking clears. Couple things to walk through before we leave the instance. Once people are out of the cutscene, we'll try to pick them up with arises and the like. We have a bit of a ritual around here for screenshots, G-poses. There is a big glowing blue tree up to the north. Once you get your chest, which has 4 drops, you can go up to that glowing blue tree. If you get to stand there for G-poses and pictures, make sure to /sit to reset your G-pose, and then jump so you're good to go. And then, once we're all good and done with photos and everything, we're gonna meet up in Balmung Gangos around the Aetheryte, or Balmung Dome and Enclave around the Aetheryte, on our new dogs, which come from your achievement menu. So, once you're alive, out of cutscene and alive, you can come here for pics. After you're done in here, if you want, you can get your dog from your achievement menu, go meet up in Balmung Dome and Enclave, and then have all of the people who just randomly teleport there go, what the fuck did I just walk into? It's the best. Huh. Good shit, y'all. So sorry for any scuffed calls or explanations or whatever due to tiredness. We got there, that's all that matters. But God, I was stumbling over my words today. Jesus Christ.
I was not expecting TS to have only double movements for fold.
Right? Well, and like people aren't used to that. Like, and like back in my day, we sometimes had to do a movement each time, so 4 movements. But nowadays, like, we have it down to either a double or a single movement from the patterns. But like that just means that when it's a double movement, especially at a tricky mechanic spot, half the party just dies. Oh shit. Oh, one last bookkeeping thing I forgot to mention. now that you have the clear role, you can get that role assigned in Cafe. Normally, we would make people screenshot your achievement menu or whatever. Just post in the role request channel if you want it. I made the roster. I know who's on my run. Like, if you want it, just say, like, hey, Fi, or something like that. Like, or give me role, and I'll give it to you. I know who is here. Like, no need to worry about, yeah. Screenshots and, like, let me count out how many clears we got. $30. Solid 30. That is damn good.
That is a lot of clears.
Might be 29, because I think Xantho got an achievement in there too. I think we got it too. Yeah, honestly, for some people being their second run in here, for some people, I wasn't lying when I said some people it's been a month. I know Xantho got it earlier. Poor Graph. So, fucking Graph, doesn't have a late night schedule, and so was running with Rare on CEM. Well, Rare got super busy with Savage and Life and stuff, and so hasn't been able to host. And that means that people that were on Rare's Prog, like, there weren't runs over there for them to go on. And so, like, they had to basically find other options, a lot of which are late night or evening or whatever. My runs typically being the latest nights of all. So, like, I've been keeping up with Graph specifically because the poor bastard's just been, you know, like, please, please, not another 4% queen in range. So I made sure to let them know when I had a run that was, like, in striking distance. I would have just dragged him on a reclear proper too, honestly. But, it's really nice to be able to, like, finally close that out. That makes for a better story, and it's something you'll remember, and that sense of achievement is better because of it, the catharsis. But God, do I really hope people don't have to go through that to get that sense of achievement, you know? Back when this content was new, we would have some people who, yeah, like, we maybe had one TA clear a week on the entire, like, on the entire data center, Crystal. Like, one TA clear a week on all of Crystal, because of how hard it was. So, like, we had some people who were at it for, like, months, and basically, like, not months, time stretched out there, but, like, multiple weeks at least, and, like, they just kept not being on the one run that managed to clear it. It was some shit. Yeah, you're good to hop out. This, like, at this point, we're just shooting the shit, we're hanging out. Like I said, once we're done with pictures here, people can go chill in Balmung, Dome, and Enclave on their dogs. Just all cluster around the Aetherite to confuse people. It's also very late, so that you can sleep now. Oh, shit. See, now I have adrenaline. Now I'm not gonna get to sleep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the run, Fine.
I'm very grateful. It was a long time coming, so I do appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I take great pride in this content, and one of the things I take pride in is I don't want this to be dead content, because, like, once you get over the initial trauma of it all, it's really fun. And so, like, I want to keep that community alive, and, like, that involves making good stories, that involves, like, I could hard carry some people to clears, just with, like, eye damage on fresh prog runs, whatever, but, like, that doesn't build a good foundation for later. So I want to keep people coming back. I want to keep people excited to come back and, like, wanting more good stories. Some people learning to host and shit as well. So when I hear that somebody's just really, like, struggling, it's like, oh, is there anything in my power I can help out with? Because, yeah, I don't know. I'm also just a big sap, so that doesn't hurt. Balmung Dome and Enclave. Dog time. Such a good mount, too, honestly.
Does that mean we can mimic chain next week?
Yes. Next week I am doing a reclear run. I wasn't sure if I wanted to loop back to fresh or do a reclear first, but I'm gonna do a reclear run. And reclear is where I take all the gloves off. That's where people are allowed to mimic chain. I teach what mimic chaining is with loadouts that teach you how to do it. That's where I, like, allow for some number of, like, profane healers or irregular tanks, that kind of thing. All planned out on the roster, of course, not just willy-nilly, because then we'll all die. But yeah, like, there is a lot of optimization doable to DRS, and once you have your sea legs under you, once you got that foundation, that's when you can start playing around with, like, sky's the limit. Mimic chaining is the go-to, like, it's the main building block for optimization, because at its core, it's using mimics to cheat on weight, by having people be batteries, we call them, to mimic off of. All it takes is one person taking a set of actions, and then anyone with Mimic can get those same actions. And cheating on weight when the actions are this powerful is the way to go, really. Heavy.